Yeah, that's your shiny.
Hey guys, welcome to Paintapalooza. Zeb's passing me all the shiny things today. Paintapalooza is where we take our thrifted junk from our last week's thrift haul and get it all painted up, and it can last anywhere from
Thrifted home decor.
Oh, thrifted home decor.
Not junk.
Okay, I should say, for the algorithm, I'm going to say thrifted high-end home decor. How about that?
I like it.
Anyways, we get it made over. We last anywhere from we've been live up to 4 hours before. Probably not that long today, but we're going to get this stuff
Although it's supposed to start raining, so I can't keep digging in the yard. So, maybe.
Yeah, if you come to the shop, just stay on the sidewalk and take the long way around or park in the U.
I have some sawhorses over there, so it's easy to see where to walk. And I do have some boards over the top, so you can't fall in if you stay on the sidewalk.
Follow the yellow brick road. Anyways, we're super excited we're going. Caitlin is on here. If you are wanting to shop along and you see something that we're painting and you want to see if it's still available, you can go to JamieRayVintage.com, click Saturday Thrift Haul. Any of the available items typically are on the top. And you can also buy the paint products at JamieRayVintage.com. I'm going to start off with Salvation Solution because I have some very, very shiny things that need to be primed. I'm actually using clear. Typically, I use white.
The white is nice because it gives you like a nice base coat.
But I'm out of white.
And we're out of white, but the clear does the same thing.
The clear is nice because if you don't want white peeking through your product, you can. The white's just thicker, so we'll see how this clear works on the super shiny stuff. It should work good.
All right, this is also shiny and slick. It's like porcelain or something, stoneware that's been glazed. We're not sure, but we're going to cover up the Scentsy. It says Scentsy right here. It's like a candle brand, a scent brand, I'm guessing.
It is. It's like one of those, you put the stuff in there and it smells good, but weird.
It's like a chalice of you sold the most.
Yeah, because it's like Scentsy you have to warm up. I used to use it back in the day, but now I'm more particular about like what type of scents they use.
Honestly, it looks like someone used it to hold like shiny balls with glitter on it. Or something.
That looks like
probably like a Christmas situation. I'm going to put molds on it, cover that Scentsy part up. I'm going to do that really quick, and then I'm going to finish this deer head that we didn't get to finish Saturday, so you get to see that complete.
It is kind of hard to see where you've gone with the clear too, especially since it's shiny on shiny. But I'm just going to trust that I've covered the whole thing. I'll do 2 coats maybe. It does have an alcohol smell, but the nice thing about Salvation Solution is that it's water-based and non-toxic. So
doesn't matter what brush you're using though, like
wash it.
It is water-based, so you can wash it out with water, but get it in there pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm not going to let this dry on here.
Because that will make your brush rock hard, and you won't be able to save that with like Downy Dunk or anything. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So, I mean, that's what makes it a good primer. It sticks.
Okay, so I have the IOD mold. This is trimmings, I believe trimmings. And then there's a trimmings 2. There's all kinds of trimmings molds. I'm just going to cover up this. Let me see if you can even see it so you know what I'm doing over here. It's not that obtrusive. It's down here. It's very dark. Oh, there you can kind of see it right here. I'm just going to cover that up.
And I'm just painting to the ledge here because I'm not going to paint where they could possibly be putting butter. I would just use it for decor. I wouldn't be putting butter in this situation, but you just
you might
well, because you can't like submerge it in water, so you'd have to like always wash it out with a rag. But we'll see. It had some chips, so it really needed to be painted. And I feel like using it for decor is better than throwing it in the garbage. So.
Can you guys see this? Let me move this little birdhouse. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to set this aside too so we have more room to work. That almost could just get away with like a aviary dry brush or something.
I think the Salvation Solution smells like pine. Really? I think it smells like rubbing alcohol, in my opinion. Let's see. And it's all natural, so it's like not harmful to use inside, but yeah, I don't know. What wood stain blocker apply to surface? I guess it's made for wood, but I use it on other stuff.
We use it on everything.
Listen.
You guys know how we do. We're like, we've got this product. Let's see if we can use it for that.
We're gonna let
and
this
so
dry.
far, it works really well to make paint stick to shiny surfaces. The DIY paint, The clay base sticks pretty well on its own, but we usually don't let stuff sit and cure like we should. And we distress and we wax and things. So this will keep it from coming off. And you might get a little bit of that red back because we use the clear Salvation solution, but probably not.
I'm just going to quickly wash this up.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've ever used like a shellac-based primer, which is a stain blocker, you can't just use soap and water. You have to use like mineral spirits or some heavy-duty stuff, and ain't nobody got time for that. All right. I need the glue. Did you say you put it over here, sweetie?
I have this glue.
Oh, that's
not. Do you want wood glue?
No, that's fine. It's not what I was looking for, but it will work.
Oh, that's the pear or the apple. Yeah, pear.
What do you use to clean your brushes? Okay, so I have not cleaned the new brushes a lot, but I would say the DIY soap is probably the best on those because it has like a little grate and you can wash it up. But like any regular brushes like Klingon or Zebra, I use our French soap or our JRV dish soap. And then I use a scrub brush. I just wouldn't recommend these scrub brushes for Debbie's brushes just because her brushes are really soft. But this is our pot scrubber.
That's actually really stiff bristles.
And this is a very stiff bristled brush. And so I feel like that helps with synthetic brushes that are a little bit tougher and not as soft. So I do like this for that. And you can also use, I've used Dawn dish soap before too, but I just don't like it as much as the other soaps, but that's what I use. I need to get some of Debbie's soap because it really is the best, the DIY soap cleaner or brush cleaner. Anyways, Caitlin, if you get a chance, would you drop a link to the brush cleaner and to the pot scrubber?
I'll borrow this from you. All right, so this is Gorilla Glue Clear Grip. It's like just a contact adhesive, not a construction adhesive. It's a little different. Construction adhesives are outdoor rated and typically stay pliable, almost like a caulking, whereas this will harden up. And
just so you know, this I just used to put this stem in here. My pear did not have a stem when I bought it, and the listing said that it would get a stem. And
I just went and got a little branch off our apple tree right outside.
It is going to need like a magic eraser. It's got some paint transfer. We have like 100 pack of the generic magic erasers at the shop. So I'll just let the gals know before they ship it.
Oh, this is going to go like...
Jackie says, I used my... Oh, gosh, I hope you use a lot of lotion. She says, I use your pot scrubber to clean my painted hands. We do have like a regular dish scrubber that's not too bad, but that pot scrubber, it's legit. I use it on my stainless steel pans when the eggs get stuck to them. Because we don't really... We have some... It's not Teflon. What's those new ones I got?
Oh, your
all clad.
All clad.
I have some all clad pans that are really nice that I would never use my pot scrubber on for eggs. But when we use the stainless steel, it sticks on there. I switched over from any kind of Teflon pans a while ago. So I've had to learn how to like do things. Thank you. Caitlin dropped the link for the scrub brush. I do have the long handled brush. That's more of a gentle, like all purpose brush that we use for dishes. The pot scrubber's intense. Okay. Next up, while that's drying, what would you like for me to paint?
So I was going to do just aviary on this apple and make it a green apple with some brown tones coming through.
Do we have aviary?
Yeah, aviary should be out right there.
Got it. Let's see if we've got a brush over here. Are you using, did you use this for the cornstarch?
Yeah, but you can knock the cornstarch out of there.
When I'm painting smaller items, sometimes I like to use a little brush because then you don't use as much paint. Because larger brushes will absorb more paint.
This is going to be ready for your shiny brush treatment in just a sec.
My shiny. You want me to prime it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. And I'm going to paint the top on this, let it dry, and then I'll paint the bottom.
I'm going to go a little extra because I don't know exactly how this is going to wrap around. Although one went like 3/4 of the way.
You want me to paint this metal thing too?
That's yours now. You do it. You do what you want.
Well, you bought this, so I just didn't know what your vision was.
My vision was aviary distressed through. Just thought it would be a cool apple. I liked the metal stem on there.
You want this metal stem painted too?
It's already done. So yeah, I did.
I do love aviary. This is a good color. Aviary, if you want like a sage green, if you mix aviary 50-50 with white swan, it makes a beautiful sagey type green. Debbie was actually talking to us yesterday and she's like, oh my gosh, I mixed aviary half and half with white swan and it makes the best sage green. I was like, I don't even know who you are mixing white swan into things. All right, I'm going to do 2 coats on this to get it all the way painted, but this is getting pretty good coverage here. So I'm using DIY's Aviary. If you're new here, this is a DIY clay-based paint, and it sticks to metal. It sticks to wood. It's good.
Are you rhyming over there?
Yeah. All right, what plan did you have for... Should I paint the boot aviary in white wax, or what color should I do that boot?
I don't know. The boot's probably going to get, someone's going to put a little succulent or some flowers or something in there. So a green color might play well with that.
Okay, can you pass me the boot?
Yep.
Since it's within your arm's reach. I don't want to ask too much. Saturday, I was exhausted. A lot of you guys that follow me know that I've had severely low iron, some hormone deficiencies, as well as a thyroid that my medication is not taking care of. Anyways, so by Saturday nights, by 9:15, and we start getting painted, and I'm not a night owl anyways. It's hard for me to like stay awake. And somebody's like, what would Jamie do without Zeb? And I'm like, I would
apparently I was fetching all the
not
things.
Survive. Also, I'm tired, lady. But sometimes people just don't know. I'm a morning person though. Like Zeb can be when he forces himself to be, but naturally from like 10 to 2, I'm most productive. Well, I guess I'm not a morning. I'm midday.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter when I'm awake. I usually get about 6 hours to 7 hours of sleep in a day, typically. I feel pretty good on 6 to 7.
You've never really slept a ton. When we were younger,
like, it
I
doesn't
always
matter.
slept
Like
more than you.
if I wake up at 5 a.m., I probably should have gone to bed around 10. You know,
yeah.
If I wake up at 7, I go to bed around midnight.
I have always required more sleep. It's just the way it is. When I don't get enough sleep, my ADD and everything else going on in my life I'm not as productive. I can force myself to do stuff, but all right, my boot's going green here.
All right, I think we're done with molds now.
Oh, I do want to mention, guys, we are going to no longer be carrying Mara's stencils. She is going to be going off on her own. She will still be a JRV retailer, so she'll probably have some of our products. But if you want to pick up some of Mara's stencils before JRV is no longer manufacturing them,
we're running a 30-day.
Well, it ends May 17th, and it's 20% off. No code needed at JamieRayVintage.com for any, not just the new ones, but like any vintage retail therapy by Mara stencil is 20% off. She is going to be doing some designing and work on her own, so we thought it would be a good way to boost some sales.
Well, she was a little limited with what we would do with her just because we have our own styles and things, and we're like, hey, you know, once a quarter you can have X amount of designs and we'll produce those with ours. And she's like, well, I want to do like 50 designs. Yeah, so she's going to go do her own thing, and it's fine.
Yep. And I feel like sometimes when you make business changes, people always think there's like some background tea. There's like zero tea. No, Mara is amazing. Great. We are such good friends. And I just want to let people know that. So if you hear anybody be like, oh, Jamie's not doing.
Here's the real business behind the scenes. She needs a little bit of extra money because she's trying to take care of her mama that's running out of money and it needs a lot of care. And so we just weren't able to, you know, give her the percentage she needed and still be able to do it ourselves over on our end. So she's just going to go out on her own and try this out. She's like, it's now or never. If I make it happen, I can now. And if not, in 5 years, I'm not going to do it anyway, because she wants to be retired.
So, all right. Moving on. You want me to prime this? I've never really primed over a mold before.
Just brush it like you would anything.
Okay. But you probably should have made this longer because it shrinks.
I know, it's fine. Here, we'll just mush it over to the corner there. Put a lot of paint on there. It'll be all right.
All right. I'll do it. But I just feel like I want to get that, like, let people know that we're not carrying our stencils, but it's not because there was an issue. Because I just feel like so many times in business, people are like, oh, what's going on? There's nothing.
Nothing going on.
We're good. There ain't nothing going on. We're just changing up things. Business is fluid. All right. Vicky says she has low iron too. Yeah, I'm going to look into, I take a liquid iron supplement. I'm going to look into possible infusions. We don't have insurance that pays for anything like that. So I have to make sure that I feel like it's going to be worth spending. I think it's like $800 or $900 cash.
Yeah, we pay out of pocket like for anything that's not like major medical.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I got to make sure that that's actually what I need.
I need a heat gun.
Oh, wow. I got way too much.
It's soupy in the bowl?
It's soupy in my bowl. I don't recommend doing what I just did. You should
The clear is a little thinner than the white because the white has a base in it.
I'm just going to use the bowl to like pull from. I'm just going to dip my brush in here.
All right, I'm just going to get this glue off of here. It is on there good. I thought sometimes hot glue, when you get it, you can just like get underneath it and peel it off. This is not peeling off. It's for serious stuff.
It's seriously on there.
Yeah. And now it's for serious on my pliers. All right.
And also, I know people are going to ask, I don't know what the timeline, oops. I wiped this down, but I forgot to peel this off. I do not.
We're making announcements before she's making announcements.
I have zero clue. She knows that we were going to do this. I have zero clue like what her timeline will be. So, because people were asking, I talked to a couple people yesterday. They're like, well, when can we get stencils from her? I don't know. She might wind up using her own manufacturer. I don't know if she's making herself. I don't know that information. I will know when you know. All right, I'm going to wash that off. I wiped the thing down and then I forgot to scrub this part off.
This glue, whatever they use, probably a good high temp glue, is being very stubborn. I was not anticipating this.
Maybe they used Gorilla hot glue. That stuff is legit.
The high temp.
Mm-hmm. Some stickers stick more than others.
Did you have a sticker on it? Oh, the price tag? All right. So our starts are doing good. We've got probably another 3 weeks.
Our plant starts.
Sorry. I just jumped right into it. I was just thinking about what I got to do over at the shop. I'm like, might as well verbalize that. But as soon as I get the watering system in, we will probably start planting things like peas, some lettuce.
Cold water crops. Yeah. Or cold
weather.
Weather, that's the word.
Because we don't really want to put the tomatoes or the squash out there until after Mother's Day. And last year we did a bunch of squash starts and they almost died when we transplanted them. They didn't transplant very well. So we're just going to put them in the ground and do them. It took them a long time to recover, and I feel like they were behind, whereas if we'd have just planted them from seed, they would have been better rooted and done well. Eventually, we did get lots of squash, but it took a while.
Whole lot. We haven't even touched what we freeze-dried. So this year, we're planting less squash, and I'm not freeze-drying all of it because I have enough from last year. It's going to last me.
Well, and we're eating... I have a lot of recipes I want to do. I've discovered that I really love zucchini cut almost like a pickle spear and grilled. So I'm going to be doing lots of that.
I do not like zucchini in place of pasta.
No, we're not.
It is not pasta. I don't care what you do with it. It doesn't taste like pasta. I'll just eat it as zucchini. That's what we have discovered.
Well, we went to a...
like spaghetti squash is not spaghetti.
We went to a nice Mexican restaurant, and they did it grilled in fajitas. It was so good.
All right, I think I got that on there nice and thin. How's this one? That's almost dry. Okay, hold on. What's the question? What would you recommend for a brown plastic wicker couch? I'm stumped. So I would first clean it really good. If you have a pressure washer, pressure wash it.
If not, a hose,
and
high pressure hose nozzle.
Either a paint made for plastic. I know there are some spray paints for that. Me personally, because I like to use the products that I know, I would probably try the Cottage Colors, but I would use it in a spray gun, an HVLP spray gun. We have lots of videos on that, so you can look them up. Just practice a little bit to get it right. We should be paint spraying in the next few weeks once it warms up a little bit more, and maybe we'll do a refresher course because I am excited to do a bunch of spraying.
Yeah, after this week, I think we'll be good. Today was supposed to be snow, and the forecast has just changed to thunderstorms and rain. We've got a little bit of sprinkles this morning. It's currently sunny, and by noon, Debbie keeps getting all this crazy weather over in California, and it's coming our way. So she gets the storm. Like we know if Debbie's complaining about the weather, that it's going to be stormy here in like 2 days.
We're the ones to get it next.
It takes like 2 days for the storms to get here.
Well, and she's just like, I feel like those of us that live where we have really cold winters and the sun doesn't come out a lot, we're more prepared for it. Like our bodies are used to, it's like the circadian rhythm of our life. But these Californians, man, they have lots of sunshine and they are not okay. They are not okay. And I don't blame them because I wouldn't be ready for it either. It's normally when you go to California, I'm like, man, I love going up and down the beach. Everybody's smiling and happy. And it's because they get a lot of sunshine. So I feel bad, even though it's been rough here. I feel worse for the people that are used to it being warm because you don't, we're used to it. You know,
this is just longer winter. They're like not used to it at all.
Jana says, I'm in Southern California at the beach and it's so out of ordinary. Yeah, it's crazy. And it even made me grumpy because we went to California twice and it was horrid.
Well, we usually go to get away from our cold, and it was cold and wet there.
I know. All right, so what can I paint next? Should I paint this one?
Yeah, I mean, if you want. My plans on that is either doing, I was thinking some new rice paper, but also I was going to do a big stencil on the front.
Okay, so base coat.
Oh, I remember what I said I was going to do. The little stencils, I'm going to do like 3 of them with colors on them. So maybe get it base coated and I'll stencil it. Do
you want me to do cake batter since it's already yellow? Like kind of keep with that
would
theme?
Work really well. Yeah, just cover up that lavender. Okay. The lavender's not bad. It's just
really scuffed up.
Yeah.
Hey, Christina from the Turn Lake. How's the weather in Michigan? I wanted to say Illinois, and I knew that was wrong. Michigan. Do you use your paints or DIY to crackle? I had major crackle fail yesterday. I washed off my paint and quit for the night. So we do make a crackle medium that absolutely works. The directions are on it. I think you brush it on, you do your base coat, do the crackle, wait 24 hours, put a coat over the top of it. But sometimes I like to use milk paint, or I will put the DIY paint on thick and heat gun it to get it to crackle. Or we have a crackle stamp. So you can do a base coat, pick a different color for the top coat, distress back, and then whatever color was your base coat, roll that onto your stamp and delicately apply the crackle all over, and it'll look like that base color is cracking through. So hopefully that makes sense. I need to do another video like that. It's been a while since we've done it. All right, so I'm just going to go cake batter on this. It's already yellow. Probably going to take a few coats to cover. I probably will paint the hardware because I'm not removing it, but then I'll just wet distress most of the paint off. It's 80 in Southern Alabama or South Alabama. Actually, that sounds a little too warm for me right now. Like 70 is really my jam. It takes me a minute to like acclimate. And if you have humidity at all, I will die. I'm a West girl.
My parents are in Alabama, probably about mid. They're an hour south of Birmingham. And that's a 3-prong, not a Phillips.
They already got their
I can always tell. Yeah, they've been out of frost for a month. I can always tell how hot it actually is because my sister lives out there and she's got a little almost 2-year-old daughter. And depending on how many clothes she's still wearing is a good barometer. And she's got curly hair. So if her hair is like big and poofy and she doesn't have any clothes on, she's running around in a diaper.
It means it's humid and hot.
That's how I know how hot it actually is. My dad's like, oh, the weather's great. And then I'll see a picture of her and I'll be like,
Evelyn
No.
is the actual indicator.
Evelyn is like the best barometer on what the weather is actually like where you're at right now. Because she get grumpy when it's hot.
I get grumpy when it's hot too. All right, you can still see the lavender through this first coat, but I'll let it dry completely and then I'll get pretty good coverage.
She's got big curly red hair.
Caitlin's going to be right back, so I will answer any immediate needs, but if she's not here and you ask a question and I miss it, just wait for her to get back. This isn't her regularly scheduled live video, so she's got stuff. She could also just have to go to the bathroom because that happens. I actually don't know how we make it through these. Like, have I ever had to stop and go potty?
I don't know. I'm sure it's happened. We've done, we go live like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, it's bound to have happened at one point or another. So if you are painting over hardware and you want to bring back that original like hardware detail, you can just wet distress it. A lot of people say, oh, I can't believe you're painting the hardware. And then I distress it back so the paint's just sitting in the detail. And they're like, oh, I wound up liking that. I'm like, I told you.
All right, this mirror is not, it's like glued in.
All right. You're going to go live over here and dry.
Trying not to break it. That is, it's blowing my mind right now.
What?
The mirror is also glued in.
That's next level.
I know.
Do you want me, what color are we painting this cake batter?
Sure.
Where's the little perch? There are no little.
It didn't have one.
Oh.
It just had like that moss and glue on
that's
it.
still on there.
Here.
Salt wash.
Okay.
I'm gonna move that over there. Do you want me to start salt washing stuff or?
I don't have salt wash out, so if you'd like to salt wash anything, you're probably gonna need to make some.
You tell me I gotta get it myself. All right.
For now.
For now. I'm gonna two-tone this. So everywhere that's red is gonna go cake batter, and everywhere that's natural wood, I'm probably gonna paint white. So I've got the knob off here.
In an effort to not break this mirror, we're gonna leave it in, and we will just razor blade around it. I was gonna hopefully pull it out real easy by removing these screws, but it's glued in as well as screwed in. So
it's glued and screwed.
So we will just leave it in and not break it and scrape it later.
Oh, Renee said they were mid-90s yesterday. But for her, that's not too bad because she's
going to get up to like 115.
Yeah, my sister like freezes when she comes up here.
Yeah, it would be like 70 out here. She's like, I need a jacket.
It's all what you're used to. And there are some things we're predispositioned to.
It was 45 yesterday, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt on the tractor all day.
Yeah, I made the mistake of wearing fleece line leggings, and it was 45, and I was gonna.
Well,
die.
you found them in the closet because you were cleaning the closet out, and she's like, "Look at these leggings! I forgot I had." She's like, all happy to wear them. She's like, "They're fleece line." I'm like, "You're gonna have those off by 10." Sure enough.
That is the truth. But I do have to say, I lived in Calexico, California for like many, many years. Never got used to it. I hate the heat. Like extreme heat just isn't my jam.
I feel like it goes both ways, right? Extreme cold hurts and extreme heat hurts.
Yeah, but like if I had to choose, that's why I live here. I feel like if you hate where you live, like you don't like the weather, it's definitely time to make a decision to live somewhere else.
Did you make any salt wash? I'll make some if you haven't.
No, I haven't.
What base do we want? I'm thinking I'm going to go with...
weathered wood?
I'm going to go with some sandy blonde base.
Sure.
Because I feel like this mirror would really lend to like a real primitive look.
I'm gonna wait to do the white until I'm done with the yellow.
I don't hate this barnwood look on here, but it's like fake decoupaged on.
Do we ship to the UK? Yes, we can ship stencils to the UK. Email info@jamierayvintage.com with the ones that you'd like, Richard. And Caitlin can help you out. Just make sure you spell Jamie, Jami, and Ray is Ray, because that's like the most common way people misspell my email.
If you go into like a search bar like Google or Safari or Bing, it'll autocorrect it.
Yeah, but if you're in the email, it doesn't autocorrect it.
Oh, yeah, the email, no.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, Caitlin is back on here. Oh, somebody was saying... Yeah, so liquid, then the difference in yellows and DIY paint, cake batter is like a soft, buttery yellow. Queen Bee is like a dark, mustardy, moody yellow. I love that one too. And then liquid sunshine is like, whoa, bright yellow.
Liquid sunshine.
It's liquid
we've been
sunshine.
on half an hour.
Thank you, Caitlin. She dropped that email for you, Richard. So if you shoot her an email, she can help get you stencils. If you are abroad and you need supplies from our page, just know that things like stencils and decoupage paper are going to be the least expensive to ship internationally because they're flat. So stencils are a good option, decoupage paper, things like that. I mean, we will ship paint internationally, and we absolutely do all the time, but it's just going to be more expensive.
The price runs up pretty quick on shipping.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that needs to go cake batter?
I don't think so.
Okay. Are you doing salt wash on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna salt wash and smear.
I'm running out of space here.
Oh well, I've been fixing all the things, and you've been painting all the things. So
I'm gonna paint. Can you guys see this? Me.
All right, going on with Sandy Blonde and the salt wash. We're gonna get a thick texture medium here.
Move this over. Thank you, Caitlin. She just posted about international shipping. She said it's about $20 to $30 to ship flat stuff internationally. Maybe next time I go to England, I'll fit like some flat stuff in my suitcase and bring it over, and then we just gotta.
What we need is we just need a good retailer over there. We don't have one.
All right, I'm going to use one of Debbie's new brushes, and I am going to...
We had a retailer in the UK, but I haven't seen anyone order in a while from the UK, so I don't know what's happened with them. Might need to follow up with Caitlin.
I'm going to do...
Not Caitlin, Mariah.
Mariah. I'm going to do tarnished pearl.
I'm at the end of my bucket here, so this paint is thick anyway. And the salt wash, I don't want it to be quite that thick. While you're up, can you see if there's a blade over there handy?
Oh, yeah.
One of those IOD blades.
You want it like one not too big, right?
It don't matter. I can work with whatever. Yeah, that's perfect.
So these are the IOD silicone blades, and they're great for mushing. You can take the DIY paint that's all thick and chunky on the ledge of your can or salt wash and smush it on. Can you pass me those pliers so I can open my can?
Literally. We're going to do some smushing.
So yeah, so Queen Bee is more mustardy yellow, kind of like a brown yellow, and cake batter is just like a more soft butter yellow. But I feel like it's like slightly mustard, if that makes sense. It's not like in your face mustard cake batter. I want to come up with a soft butter yellow in the cottage colors. In fact, I need to remember to talk to Debbie because we're going to get 3 new colors, but I would love to get 4. And if I get 4, I want to get the butter yellow.
There were whispers from the warehouse
that
they're like, hey, we have a lot of this base. And we were like, we can sell more of the base.
Yeah. So if we get a butter yellow, I need you all to buy the crap out of it to show them that we needed it. We'll see what happens. If we don't get it now, we'll get it in the fall when we do the next release. I'm waiting patiently for our samples to come to us so we can just like quadruple check that they are the exact right shades. And then we can open it up to the retailers and then eventually to the public. So excited about that release. What kinds of things like, okay, I know it's only, what are we, April? Like, where are we at? But I'm already starting to think for seasonal, my fall release, I'm hoping to get out sometime in like July for stencils. What are things that we don't currently carry that you would like to see for fall and winter 2023? I'm kind of taking polls. Doesn't mean I'm going to make everything because I usually don't come up with a million new designs, but I would like to see what people are interested this year because I know things change from year to year what they're designing in. All right, so I'm using tarnished pearl, by the way, in case you're wondering. This first coat is going to go on kind of yucky because this is like a shiny metal, but I will have better coverage with my next coat. And I'm using, which paintbrush is this? I don't know the names of them.
I don't know the names of all Debbie's.
This is one of Debbie's new paintbrushes. All right. I have to go like 80 directions to get in all the details, and then I just smooth it out all one direction. No gnomes. No, we're good. We actually have gnomes, so we already got that.
Just some little guys. They're like little minis.
Yeah, we came up with them a few years ago, actually. Victorian Halloween, whatever that means, like kind of like Victorian Gothic. Is that what you're saying? I could look into that. We actually have some fun Halloween.
The neighbors just redid like their whole living room all Victorian.
I love our apothecary labels for like Victorian Gothic style because you can make like apothecary bottles and use the labels that very Halloween-y. Amy says coffee related, probably not super gonna come from us just because we don't drink coffee, but maybe we could do like hot cocoa type stuff, you know, like mugs and things like that. And then you could use them for coffee to do little coffee bar type situations, I guess. We only have coffee at our house when Debbie comes. We have her little Starbucks pods. All right. Oh, and at the shop for the gals that drink it in their little pods. All right, that's going to dry. But it would be cute to have like mugs and stuff.
Let me see if I can. Oh, yeah, you can see the texture on there. So it's different than brushing it on. It's almost like I just put on a bunch of drywall mud and doing like wall texture. But once I paint it, wax it, all of that is going to show up more crackly. I'm going to heat gun it now and get some crackle in it.
All right, I got to say this before I forget. I was waiting for you to be done.
I saw you waiting.
All right. What if we do like a coffee mug, like a cocoa mug, whatever you want to call it, that is just like we have our little crock and we have a blank crock and we have a blank canning jar and stuff. And you can like put stencils on it, like the mini packs will fit on the mug. Then, so you can do like a mug with a few extra things, and then you can actually use stencils inside of them that you may or may not already have. Because we try to do our mini packs where they will fit on our crock and our jar and our urn and stuff. Mm-hmm. That would be good. See, this is good brainstorming here. Crows would be good. I thought we had. We have a crow in one of our Halloween packs.
We have one crow in the Halloween pack.
And I do love it. It looks so good.
I actually just like it for labeling. I've used it with other like labels because I'm a big fan of ravens, which, you know, essentially a crow. Different, but
I shouldn't be talking about this out loud. Maybe other people will copy me. Oh well. A mug is not the most unique idea. Yeah, it's probably not the most unique idea. What really sets JRV stencils apart is just the thickness and the quality. What?
My crackle's off the chain.
Oh, Vicky Zach, I think she left, and she was the one asking about crackle. So hopefully she comes back.
Maybe she popped back in. How many people are watching right now?
Vintage floral stencils for frame sets. That'd be good. We've done lots of florals, maybe like botanicals. Ton of florals,
but they don't, like, the thing is that's hard is like every pack doesn't have what everybody needs, right? So you got to like decide, like, do I need that one flower out of those 8 flowers in that pack? We could just do like single stencils, but it's hard from a manufacturing standpoint to like do that many small things.
Frogs and foxes, maybe a forest themed set. I'm not huge on them, but I do see cute things, and then it makes me kind of.
We have little pine trees, but what if we did them to look more like what are those little trees?
But we could do like a woodland
bottle brush trees.
One. Yeah, we have bottle brush trees. We have a bottle brush tree set.
Oh, we do?
Uh-huh. But a woodland.
It's hard for me to remember what we've had. We've been doing this, about 5 years now?
I know mostly because I designed them.
But we've been doing it about 5 years, and there's like a couple hundred designs.
Yeah. You focus more on the decoupage paper. But a woodland themed one would be good. A lot of people like to do woodland themed Christmas ornaments. So the Holy Family, we do have a nativity, like a long, skinny nativity that's really cool. If you haven't looked at that one for the holidays, I really like that one.
So my box has kind of an angle now, which I don't hate. I talked about sanding it flush because it had like some overhang that was weird. And so I sanded that. I'm going to darken decrepit this, and then we're going to do some cool stenciling. I might decoupage this. Where'd my little... Oh, I got that this week. That's for next week.
You're already thinking ahead. We've already thrifted for Saturday.
I was like, where's my box? I was going to decoupage.
We have like a pretty good schedule of how we do things. That's almost ready for a second coat on this stuff. So okay. I'm going to go ahead and put one coat on here, and then I'm going to circle back to my primer and do a second coat of primer on those.
All right, so everywhere this was thick, I got some really good crackle. We've got some really great texture. So while when I initially put it on there, it looked like it was just going to be like wall texture, right? Like someone had come in with some drywall mud and textured my wall. But this is a lot different and reacting a lot different. I've got, since I heat gunned it, I'm getting some really good crackle. The texture is still there. You can still see where I like drug the blade across. I'm going to show you in just a sec. I might let this cool down before I paint it another color. I may just go with like a light. Look at that crackle. It's like crackle in the mud. Now this mirror has just gone from bad pixelated print to looks almost like a legitimate antique. I may even come back through and hit this with some copper or some gold.
All right. Like, why is it that when you have dogs, you will get like a few hairs in all of your things, even when they don't shed? I mean, I guess for the same reason that my hair gets into stuff.
You lose hair all the time.
That is true.
Okay, if you've been hanging out with us, we're about to start bringing some of these projects full circle and put final coats on a couple of them.
I like to get everything started so I don't waste time with a heat gun, and then I circle back and finish stuff. Although, are we decoupaging anything? We probably should have primed that already.
We have dark and decrepit. Yeah, I'm going to decoupage a couple things, I think.
We need to get some salt wash out, though, because we do need to. Aren't you working on those little terracotta pots?
I have the salt wash. I actually need to add some water to my salt wash. It's super thick.
It's gotten thick. No gold, try copper. Oh, Vicky's on here. Vicky is on here. I don't think we have gold out today. So I
have the gold and the copper. I got it all out.
You never know. Although I do want to remind everybody, if you buy stuff and it says will be painted, you get what we paint. I guess that's probably not the most polite thing to say, but especially when we get started, like rolling, we get ideas flowing. Like I try to remember if somebody says something and my brain no worky. All right, I'm going to leave the inside red. Sorry, inside. There's no way I'm fitting a brush inside there. So the red is going to get distressed back and still be part of this piece. It's not going to completely go away. All right. And I will paint the bottom of this eventually. I only put, if it's got paint, if I don't have a drop cloth down here, I only put DIY paint down because I can wash it up easily when it's not sealed. Okay.
All right, I got to put some heat on this. This is, oh, there we got it. Testament to how strong
Robin,
this
you can watch this. You can watch the replay of this video on Facebook and on YouTube. It usually takes about 30 minutes or so to like render, and then it becomes available again if you want to watch the beginning. What did I do with that brush?
I don't know. I've got my little one.
I've got like 82 brushes over here.
Okay, so this is dark and decrepit. This was stained dark with something. I don't know, probably a dark walnut or something similar to that. And this isn't going to be the final coat. I'll probably come back with a tarnished pearl over this. And then I'm going to stencil or decoupage. I haven't decided. Probably stencil because this is more of a primitive piece. And I feel like a stencil will... I mean, it's a shop project, so when I say primitive piece, I mean none of the lines are straight. It's big O nails were used instead of finished nails.
Leah says, you're like parents, whatever is for dinner. And Vicky says, I have no issue painting if needed. LOL. That's solid effort there. First of all, I can't. Sometimes I remember who buys it, and sometimes I can't remember.
Listen, if you don't like what we painted, think of it as a base coat with base coating. This,
I know for sure this is getting shipped to Alaska, so But sometimes I can't remember who bought what. My brain doesn't have capacity for that. So I'm second coating this with the clear primer. I'm gonna let that dry. Technically, you're supposed to let it dry overnight for best results. So if you're having issues with the primer, just remember, do 2 coats, let it dry overnight, and then paint it. But it's more of an issue with like bleed through type stuff, not adhesion.
Cody is out there. He would like to let us know that he's ready to come in for his treat, but he's going to have to wait.
They have water out there. It's not cold. It's not raining.
No, it's not even raining right now.
It was supposed to rain all morning. That's
like
why
lightly sprinkled for about 20 minutes earlier. And then I saw on the radar, though, I was watching it. We've got Utah Lake is over here to the south of us. And it's a pretty big lake, especially for out west. And it's big enough to affect the weather. And you can see the radar. The storm comes like this, and then it hits the lake, and it just spans out across the whole lake in the valley. So we'll see what happens. It's supposed to make it be a thunderstorm. Okay, I'm going to let this dry pretty good. Then we'll put a coat on this. I've got these terracotta pots. These are actually kind of cool, just how they are.
Jamie, wash your brush. Oh, this is DIY paint, so it'll be okay.
That one will be all right.
If I was using cottage color or sealers, you want to wash them right away.
But good call. You've been listening. Wash the new DIY brushes. It doesn't hurt to wash them either.
No, but if you're using sealer or cottage color, it's really actually, that's a good reminder for anything that has a built-in sealer or like this primer that's got sticky to it. You don't want to let that sit on any brush. It's not a good idea. Not at all.
So this is the sandy blonde salt wash mixture. I added a little water because it was really thick, but it didn't really change the color of the paint or anything. It's just made it thinner.
So the primer comes in clear or white. If you wanted a white to distress back when you distress it, I would suggest using the white primer. I use white most of the time because that's what I like, but I ran out. So clear primer is where I'm at. The clear primer actually, I feel like, goes a little further surface-wise because it's a lot thinner.
I don't think I'm going to paint the inside of this because this is probably going to get potted. I might paint the top lip, but
yeah, I paint the top lip, but I don't usually paint the inside.
Yeah.
When I'm doing them. All right. Do I need, I got a primer. I was like, there's one more thing I have to put another coat of primer on. Our Scentsy bowl here. There's still a little primer puddling up in the bottom. So instead of putting more in here, I'm just going to brush that around. Cody. Barking.
He's pretty insistent little guy.
Are you going to paint the Beethoven bust today? No. So that will not get painted till next week.
That's in Saturday's thrift haul. Even though you've seen it in a video, we'll go over it and what we're going to do to it on Saturday.
So this is kind of our weekly schedule. I know we have a lot of new people on here, so I'll let you guys know what we kind of do. It'll help, especially, I'm not saying that we always follow it, but we're pretty good. And it kind of helps make everything make sense.
The only time we're not consistent is if we're out of town.
On Monday, we thrift because we have a thrifting video that I put up Monday. And so we'll thrift on Monday. And I typically will do the video Monday afternoon or evening, depending on my day. And then I will sometimes put up a short or whatever that day, maybe Tuesday, of that particular haul. Tuesdays are the days that we paint the haul from the previous week. And sometimes that rolls into Wednesday. And then Wednesday morning, we have Waste Not Wednesday. And so that's usually like some sort of item that would have been discarded, showing you guys how to give it new life, or using garbage to make home decor, those types of things. And occasionally it's just a lot of painting. Like if we have a really heavy painting week, we will paint on Wednesday as well for that video. And then Thursday, we do the shop tour. Friday, I've been trying to get my videos recorded like throughout the week. So Friday, we usually will have some sort of painting video of some sort, or like furniture refinishing like we did last week. And I will have those. I try to get them done by Thursday afternoon, evening. So that way I can upload them at 5 a.m. Friday morning. So you can check our channel anytime Friday for the weekly paint video. And then Thursday, we also have our shop tours. Those are live and the time isn't necessarily determined. And then Saturday, we have our thrift haul for everything that was thrifted on the previous Monday. And then those items don't get painted till the next Tuesday. Right, I hope I said that all right.
Stop my chirping bird.
He's talking about the dog. We film a lot, in other words, but that kind of give you an idea of like the schedule of how we do things. It works out well for us because like, especially now that I'm getting my Friday video done earlier in the week, it gives us like a couple of chunks of days to get bigger projects done. Or if we have like football tournaments, which we've been having recently, it frees up my time to do that. So Leah says, silly me, I was excited about the bust. It's all right, Leah. It was a good question because I need to remember to give people our schedule so they know what to expect. Like Wednesday, those videos are 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Thursday's lives are anywhere between like 8 and noon, depending on our day. And like I said, Friday, 5 a.m. Mountain Time. That's when my videos go up.
He was constantly yipping.
Why?
He got left out there alone. Rex is up in the room.
Oh, is Rex upset and you were outside by yourself?
His emotional support Rex is not out there.
And you ran out of things to do? Yesterday I had Jack as our pooper scooper, and yesterday I had Jack do all the poop and then organize all the dog toys. So we found all the dog toys all over the yard that they've really not been playing with much, and he put them in a pile. And as soon as he piled them up, it was like Christmas morning. Those dogs were digging through the pile, and now the toys are spread again. So I'll have to have him line them up. Yeah, the bust was a nice score. It's like a really good size and only $5. I'm excited to paint that bust. Okay, everything that needed a second coat of primer is done. So I'm gonna wash my brush and move this aside.
Okay, I'm gonna finish my deer and wax it since I don't think that'll take very long.
Okay, so anything you're seeing us paint right now, Julie, is already on the website at jamierayvintage.com. Some things may have already sold because it went up Saturday night, but we only upload new products Saturday night, 8:30 Mountain Time. It usually goes up about 8:25.
New thrift haul products.
New thrift haul, sorry. You're right. We do random other stuff, but new thrift haul only goes up Saturday night between 8:25 and 8:30 p.m. right before our live video. If you download the Jamie Ray Vintage app, you will get a push notification as soon as it's live to remind you to check that collection. Or if you sign up for text messaging, you'll get texted. But the push notification is really great because you get the notification, you can go in the app to the thrift haul and start shopping. You click the notification
and you're right there to the collection.
There are some people that set their own reminders and alarms, and they start hovering the website about 8:20 on Saturday nights, Utah time. But we have about 700 to 1,000 people on our Saturday thrift hauls. So we decided long ago, instead of doing like for commenting or whatever to sell items, we decided to just load it on the website at a predetermined time just to keep it even and fair. And if you see something you like on the Saturday haul, it's always best to buy it right away because the cart doesn't necessarily save it for you.
So hopefully that only holds it for a few minutes. It doesn't hold it indefinitely. Like if you put it in your cart and you got to go run grab your wallet to put your payment in, it'll hold it that long.
Oh, but Vicky says she's curious about the jewelry box. So I don't actually have a jewelry box, Vicky. I think you're talking about the nightstand.
Oh yeah.
That will actually go. That's actually like a side table nightstand, the round one.
That might be Friday's project.
Yeah, it'll be Friday's video, so it'll actually probably go up for sale. I guess I could schedule it. I don't know because Caitlin usually does it. When I finish furniture projects, I usually list them right away. So that'll probably go up sometime Thursday night or Friday morning. I think that's what Vicky's talking about because I don't remember buying a jewelry box. Okay, I washed out my brush because I had Salvation Solution. Make sure you wash it out really good. I might actually soak it in some water just in case I missed something. And that way I can get to it later. But never put water past the ferrule. I'll show you what the ferrule is. So if you have, I'm not saying you should soak your brushes. It's not best practice. But if you are soaking it, you only want to have water up to here. You don't want water here. And the reason being that this is where all the glue is and the wood. And it'll expand, contract, you'll lose bristles. So if you do happen to soak a brush, just don't soak it past the ferrule.
Okay, so this is Pennies from Heaven, copper patina. One of our favorite things. We love the metallics. Been painting a lot of things with them lately: frames, home decor, specialty items like this deer head. That was like a white porcelain, but the ear was broken. If you missed Saturday night, the ear was broken. Someone had already glued it up and they did a good job. It's very strong. I can pick the whole piece up by the ear. It doesn't have, we were thinking of like mounting this in a frame and doing like a bunch of really cool things with the frame and making it a whole piece, but this doesn't have mounting hardware on the back like a lot of these do. It's not the paper mache type. It was meant to sit and stand just like this.
So I can still see a little bit of that dark lavender coming through. So I will go ahead and do a third coat on this. Yellows and whites are the hardest to get full coverage on, no matter what brand of paint you buy. So keep that in mind. Be patient with those as you're using them. If it didn't have that dark design, I definitely would have full coverage with 2 coats. And you probably can't even see it on the camera, but I can see it. And so I'm going to make sure I do 3 coats on this. Well, Jamie, what is your plan for the square tins?
So we'll paint those again and distress them.
I'm just going to do 1 more coat of tarnished pearl and a heavy wet distress to bring out the dark.
When we find them like this and they're dark, or sometimes they'll just be white, like we try to two-tone them so that all the detail shows, because a lot of times you won't even be able to pick up that detail.
Oh, I was right. Vicky was thinking about that side table. Yeah, that'll be Friday's video. And as soon as I finish that, I will probably list it. So if you Jamie's
doing all the videoing this week. Like, I'm doing real exciting work. I was on a tractor for about 8 hours yesterday digging holes. And she calls it playing with my tractor. And, you know, there is a certain amount of joy that comes
basically
from,
like a real life Tonka truck.
Moving dirt. But after 8 hours of it, you're like, all right, I got to get more ditch.
Yeah, yesterday Zeb was on his tractor and I was in the pool loading up the thrift haul for Saturday. It's like, sorry, I can work from the pool. And I edited yesterday's video from my bed because I edit on my phone. Zeb edits on the computer. So if I edit a video, just picture me like sitting on my bed with a drink with a fun show in the background. That's typically how I edit. If it feels too much like work, I can't do it. I'm getting a little better though.
So a sprinkler system, I was looking into it. A sprinkler system is anywhere to have it installed and things. There's kind of a base price in Utah right now of about $1,250 to $1,500, depending on what equipment, like sprinkler heads and valves and stuff that you select. So $1,200 to $1,500 per 100 feet of line. And I am doing about 600 feet of line or more. So we'd probably be about $7,000 to have someone come and put this sprinkler system in for us. And right now I'm at the cost of like 5 gallons of diesel fuel and my monthly payment for the tractor and the stump grinder, which the stumps needed to come out anyway because they were poking up above the grass and looked bad. But I couldn't get around one of the stumps. One of them was a big old stump. Even with a big excavator, I wouldn't have been able to pull that out. My tractor is very small, little 25 horsepower.
That's why I'm glad though that like I have learned how to. Well, I have to film a certain way. Like if we do a video with the DSLR that you actually see us on right now, I have zero clue how to edit that video. I don't know how to get the footage off of it. I don't edit on a computer, but I discovered a while ago. I one day randomly decided to try it. That I could edit from video that I take on my phone. We always buy the latest and greatest iPhones. And so I've been editing our videos for quite a few months now. And it's been good because Zeb has been so busy. He's milking the cow. We have a ton of construction type projects, or he'll go clean the pool or whatever, things that I don't typically do. And so it's been really good.
I feel like pool cleaning is a big deal too, because it's like $400 a month to have someone come clean your pool.
Yeah. I feel like it's so important.
I'm like all these things. I'm like, I'm the save money part of the business. all the maintenance.
It costs a lot of money to hire someone to edit your videos.
Yeah, it does.
But all that to say, it's teamwork. So like no matter what kind of marriage or partnership you have, kind of divide and conquer, right? I could work on the tractor, but I'm not very good at it.
Jamie couldn't run the tractor, but she don't want to. After about 10 scoops, she'd be like, hey, I'm bored.
I feel like we can do anything, right? Like I didn't think I could edit videos, but also if it's like a super fancy edit, my ADHD kicks in. So hopefully you guys don't mind the video way I edit. I try really hard to make it good, but I'm not a high, like, there's not a lot of things I can do with it. I just kind of put it in there. I have learned how to like change the volume a little bit and put music on. And I even, you know what I did this week?
What did you do this week?
When there were things that we didn't know the price until we checked out, I put the price in words that popped up on the screen.
You did pop-up words?
I did pop-up words, and I've learned how to put them at the right time.
Seeing all these things.
Dee says, I see nothing wrong with the videos. Well, there you go. They've actually been getting more views. I don't know if that's just because there's different stuff going on with the channel, or if it's just because it's been like consistent, because Zeb was the only one that could edit them before. If we had a really crazy, busy Zeb heavy week where a lot of things he had to do, sometimes the videos didn't happen or they were live instead of edited. And now that I can do them, it seems like it gives us more flexibility. And because I do it on my phone, I could do it if we're out of town. Like when we went to Debbie's, I edited while we were there. I'm
going to go put this deer out in the sun while we have a little bit of sunlight.
Thanks,
and
Amy.
Then we're going to dark wax it here probably in about 15 minutes.
I feel like with all things, you just have to give yourself a little time to learn how to do it. And you can get better at anything. You can do anything if you go slow.
And in place of editing, I've been doing a lot of the paper design and printing and monitoring inventory on that. It's been a fun transition. I like her.
Oh, that's the other thing too. Like since we started that new paper line,
let's be honest, I was a little burnt out on editing videos. I've been doing it for like 8 years.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. And Zeb is so good at design work, like graphic design, because he went to school for that. So it's kind of allowed him to do that. I can help a little bit.
Jamie knows what she wants it to look like, but she can't really make the program do what she wants.
I can bang on the computer and try to get it right, but yeah, it's not my favorite thing.
So I think on this, I'm just going to go with a basic white and distress some of this red back. Do we have a white out?
I don't know. I have tarnished pearl, which is kind of like a white gray color.
What happened to all that white swan? Did we blow through a whole quart of white swan?
I don't know.
Looks like we're almost out of cottage. Oh, nope. We got some white linen right here.
Thanks, Brendan. JB, you're my role model. I want to be like you when I grow up. I don't have the first clue how to paint, let alone edit videos. You know what? We have been making videos, Zeb said, like 7.5. So it's been 8 years in August. He probably edited for the first 7.5 years. And I barely started helping. So it took me a while to... Necessity, though, I feel like is the mother of invention. Like
I need to shake this.
It was necessary for me to start editing. So I figured out a way I could.
We just have, between the two old properties, our house is old and
Zeb has a lot of
shop is old. And we did take on quite a few animals so that, you know, we can have that aspect of... you know, it's helped Eliza health-wise. She has a lot less problems with lactose intolerance. And even like she would be at school and she'd be like, I forgot to pack my lunch, or I didn't have time to pack my lunch, so I guess I won't eat because there's milk and all the things at school.
She can eat a little bit better.
And it would make her sick. And now now that she's been drinking Buttercup's milk, she's been able to handle that better and tolerate it more without like feeling like she's just like got to go pass out in the nurse's office.
The kicker for me with editing, that we do talk about this a lot in business coaching, but we're here sitting talking, so I can tell you, is I just do short little clips. I do not film a lot. Like if I'm like yesterday's video, I had 9 minutes of footage. My video wound up being 8 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm only cutting out very little bits.
She's cutting out the first and the last part of each clip and done.
Not even each clip, just the first and the last of ones where we're talking to the camera, because sometimes there'll be a little delay. And just making sure it's in the right order. And I have to cut it and splice it for like music on areas where we're not talking. But I don't cut out a lot. So literally an 8 minute, 20-second video.
Actually, filming like that has helped me, because I used to do like long time lapses. I'd have an hour of footage for a 10-minute video. And I've been like, you know what, this is
all.
easier and it doesn't matter. Like no one cares that I just time-lapsed that and did like 18 effects.
Well, the more you film, the more if you have to watch it to edit it, right? So if you have an hour of footage, it takes you an hour to watch it.
And that's the difference between my editing and your editing. I would do it on the computer where I could like 8 times speed it and still understand what you were saying. And you don't have that option on your phone because you don't edit on the computer.
No, I guess I could figure it out. I think if I edit it on the computer though, I would use an Apple program because that's what I know.
Final Cut. That's nice. That's what Debbie uses.
I just don't know that I don't want to spend that much time editing.
It's working on the phone. And I figured out I could probably teach you how to use Rush, and you might like that because it has waveforms on the bottom. I figured out how to fix the lighting finally.
I might. We'll see.
All these technical things you guys wanted to hear.
I just use iMovie on my Apple, and I don't even have to move the footage. My biggest thing is I have to remember to delete footage and then move the edited videos over to the drive. But other than that, it's pretty easy.
We were going to salt wash this. Actually, I feel like it's okay.
So like today, I will film our craft kit video that needs to go up, and I'll probably put that up later today. And I will be able to film it, like do the project, film it, and edit it all in the same day. So it also helps to make the videos more in real time. It's not a lot of delay.
Well, it enables us to do like 6 of them a week.
I went to the thrift store this morning. Brendan says, Anne wanted to video it and tag you as a giggle, and I couldn't even figure out how to do that. It takes time. It also takes a lot of courage. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes to film.
Well, people are watching you and they're like, why are you filming?
I still probably irritate people. I know I do, that are there that don't want to listen to me, but I have learned a few tricks. So when I'm thrifting, you may not realize it, but right now I'm talking at a normal tone for Jamie. When I thrift, I keep the phone close to my mouth and I talk like this. And I say, oh my gosh, I'm super excited to look at this.
She puts her best radio voice on.
I was going to say librarian.
Oh, librarian.
My best librarian voice. Because when you hold it closer to your mouth, you don't have to talk that loud. And so that way I'm not like, hey, look at this. And like being super obnoxious to all the people around me. Like I do try to be respectful. I try to get as close. Occasionally you'll see a face of somebody, which is totally legal, by the way. If you're in a public space, you can't expect to not be on film. Like that's just there's laws that give around that. But I do try not to film people's faces. You know, occasionally they'll be blurry in the background or like 30 seconds here or there. So I try to keep my shots close. And I think it makes it easier for me. It's not as embarrassing.
Actually, that might alarm a lot of people. Like if you're in public, like people can pretty much film you as much as they want.
Yeah, unless there's a sign that says you can't film. I mean, it may be different from state to state, but anyways. All right.
We try not to film anybody.
Yeah, I try not to. Jana says, milking cows, shearing sheep, painting furniture, cooking, building stuff. It's impressive how much you get done. Yeah, it's a lot some days. All right. What else can I? Do you want me to paint that box screen while I have this out? What are we doing with the box?
Here's the hard part of it. Last night, I got home after digging on the tractor. I had to finish programming the craft kit to be cut out on the CNC machine. Odilia needed some invitations printed out. We also printed out Cooper's invitations or announcements for graduation. And then the toilet's been leaking upstairs, and now I had to figure out what was going on with that. I don't want to throw him under the bus because he had never installed toilets, but we had a friend come over when we were crunch time, and he's like, what can I do?
He did a great job.
I'm like, I actually need you to throw these toilets on. It's really easy. You just set it on the wax ring, you set it on the bolts, and then you tighten the bolts and screw in the water, and you're done. Because I'd already had it plumbed and everything. And just setting a toilet is just almost setting it on top of the bolts and screwing them on. The wax ring was way crooked off to one side, and it had started to leak after 2 years of living here. And it was leaking down into grandma's room.
Emma says, is that a crack in the back?
Yes, it's a 4x4 that they just drilled a little hole in the front, and the wood is a little split, which we're going to work with that. We'll distress it into the piece. And I was going to salt wash this because we had all that hot glue, but I think I'm just going to let this dry and put a second coat on here and then distress this with some sandpaper and call it good. We'll wax it and it'll be done.
Just a reminder, if you just tuned in, if you go to JamieRayVintage.com under our stencils, all of the vintage retail therapy by Mara stencils are 20% off until the May 17th. because she's going to be designing her own. And so this is kind of like a goodbye sale. We're not going to be carrying her stuff anymore. So definitely don't miss out on that.
We're good. She's still going to be a retailer and carry. She's just not going to carry the stencils anymore.
Yeah, she's going to have her own.
She's going to have the paper and the brushes and things, I think. I don't know exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know what she does and doesn't carry. But anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that because I forget sometimes to repeat stuff. And somebody's like, I didn't know you were having a sale. It'll be going for a month, though. So we'll remind you. Emma said, that is good to, I know you will. What did you say? What did you say about the crack, maybe?
Oh, distress it.
Oh.
Make it work.
Okay. I wonder if these people that like take their projects and to the DI ever wonder that somebody else is going to pick them up and paint them.
Like their
shop
that
projects.
Was obviously like a high school shop.
This
project.
Is a shop project here.
That might have even been a middle school shop project.
Sometimes we find projects that have grades on them.
Yeah, they'll be like, this was an A, and it'll be written on the bottom, or this was a B.
We've had some C's.
Yeah, well, that might have been a C right there. But I sanded it, and it's all better now.
Waste not, want not. You don't want to waste the wood.
Well, this would take me like 20 minutes at least to cut the wood out and nail it together and stain it, maybe longer. And I'm pretty fast at woodworking. I would like to think my cuts would be a little straighter, but sometimes not. You know, especially when you're in a hurry and you're in the middle of a project or you're doing 20 of them. But that's already assembled. The wood's already purchased. I think we paid $2 for the box.
Which I feel like was $1 too much. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're spoiled though, because I hear that other places, their thrift store prices are ridiculous.
I have noticed they've been slowly creeping up here, you know, but they're still not crazy.
When things are way overpriced though, I won't buy them, because even if I can make a profit, if it's way overpriced, I won't buy it, because I don't want it. I feel like thrift store prices will price how things sell. So if things aren't selling, they will lower their prices because they got to move it along.
Yeah, if they don't, they end up just having to take it to the landfill because they run out of space too.
And I actually have been known to mention to managers, like, I'm not asking you to lower this, but I'm telling you this is overpriced. And it's weird when one thing is priced this way and then something very similar is priced twice as much.
Well, you can always tell if you find something that was priced by one person and then it's the same thing, but it ended up in different spots in the thrift store, and one will be like $5 and one will be $2.
If it's exact same thing, I've actually had them lower the price for me. Why aren't you in your store doing these things? Because I don't work in the store.
Well, the store is open right now, and so it's people are walking in and around, and the upstairs actually is not. We don't have power on the second floor where we are trying to do a studio room. There is power up there. I just haven't ran it, and, you know.
Yeah. Plus, we're a hot mess, so I don't really paint a lot in the shop. We will eventually, like Deb said, get our second floor studio done, but
it's on the list. It'll probably happen this fall, to be honest, because we got to get. Harrington came and moved all his stuff out this morning. Finally, got
he did.
I helped him move his big safe and things. His bed is still in there, but it's on KSL, and he's hoping someone will just pick it up because he's got a different bed that he's using. But hopefully once the sprinklers are done, the very next project is going to be to gut that. And we're trying not to take out like any loan or anything to finish it. So we're going to get real creative finishing the Airbnb, but we also want it to be really nice. So we'll see what the craftsmen, and we have a lot of stuff.
We don't have a lot of time. Like, we got to get it done by the end of the summer. So we'll see. We're going to try to not borrow money to do it and just do it as we have money. But I'm also like, time is money. So
yes. So
I can't guarantee.
But at the same time, we have done a few construction projects, and it's a very small building.
Yeah.
Something that's going to cost up front. We got to put a new roof on it.
That's the first priority.
We got to change the layout inside and redo
flooring,
all the walls,
paint all the walls,
flooring, everything. It's gonna need like a new stove. We were thinking of we might not put it in right away, but we want to have like a little washer and dryer because we stayed at a couple.
We're going to put it in right away because we're not going to have anywhere to do their laundry.
We stayed in a couple of Airbnbs in Europe that had a washer and dryer, and it was so nice to be able to do our laundry. Oh yeah, actually we had to air dry. That's right, washers. But I might even just get like one of those little combo washer dryer situations that you find in.
The all-in-ones are not good. They take too long and they're not big enough.
Oh, that's true. We do need to wash linens, huh?
Yeah, no, we'll just get, and they cost more. So if you can do a stackable, it's better. Those are only good for like really small places, but in Europe, especially like where we go, just dryers aren't. It's funny because we went to this place and I was like, there was a washing machine. I thought it was an all-in-one. And so I like washed it and it didn't dry. I washed it again. It didn't dry. It was in French, so I didn't understand. And then I realized, oh, there's the dryer, and it was a drying rack. So no matter how many times I ran the load, it was not going to get dry because it was not an all-in-one. And then we went over to to England, and we stayed at this place, and she goes, oh, we don't have a dryer, but here's a drying rack. So we got used to that. Which drying racks totally work, but when you're in a time crunch, like I don't know if they don't have a dryer, how they have time. Maybe they have multiple sets of linens.
I don't know, except for like a tour video when we were buying the property that they've even seen inside the cottage, because we filmed the whole video fixing it up for Harrington, and then it was like, it wasn't really, we like really rushed it, and it wasn't anything fun, and we just used the layout that was there, and so that video actually never got published.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it didn't. We never put it up.
Yeah, I don't know what we didn't. I don't think we did anything with it.
No, I have the footage and I never edited it.
Okay.
So you guys will actually get to see the cottage, and it's honestly just like 30 by 14 feet. It's like 500 square feet.
It's a couple sheds made out of block.
But you'll get to come with us and do that here shortly. We got to get the garden in too.
Yeah, just a few things. And the kids are itching to move out of their bedrooms. So we decided not to finish the basement because we don't have time. So we're just going to nix the playroom because all the boys do is play video games. And we have moved the Xbox to the family room.
They weren't using it as a climbing wall. No one was really watching movies because we got the big TV downstairs. If they watch a movie, they'll watch it on the big couch downstairs, you know. So
we decided to nix it. We may eventually do a separate room downstairs, but for now, we're just going to move kids. It may not be pretty. It's probably not even something we're going to video because we're not going to decorate. We're just going to move them.
Yeah, we're going to.
And then we're going to
take down the bunk bed. Eliza's probably going to get a queen size bed so that if we have guests, they can chill out there. Because right now, all the rooms are filled, and the playroom doesn't even have a door on it right now.
That's because Redrick broke the window.
The window out of there. We don't really have a guest room or anywhere for people to stay if they come.
I'm just seeing if there's any questions. I think we're good. Okay. I thought I got that off there and I did not. Okay. Luckily, this is getting a heavy distress.
Oh.
There we go.
I was going to go pick up all the lumber for the craft kits because I was going to start cutting them today, but it's supposed to rain. It's like a half-hour drive away where I get the lumber from. So I don't really want to drive and get that all wet and then cut it out. Yeah, it swells.
Well, it's supposed to be clear tomorrow, so I would rather wait a day and not have to deal with that situation.
Well, we still have time. There's a bunch of them. These ones are going to cut out fairly quick.
The corbels took forever. These ones were not gluing up, and the back is like straight.
Yeah, I can cut like 10 backs out at a time with my table saw and my miter saw.
So he's going to do the backs on the table saw. And then the CNC is going to cut the windows, so it'll move quicker.
Yep.
That is if you're ever done with tractor work. So
I'm pretty much done. If it has to sit there for a day while I cut craft kits, it'll be all right.
The girls are going to get all the paint portioned out Wednesday. They get out of school early.
I have to do the backyard still, but it was going pretty quick. So the reason it's taken so long to dig is because I'm almost 3 feet deep on a lot of my trench. Because we're going to run a winterized water line, so I don't have to haul water out of the second-story bathtub.
It's working smarter, not harder. Like, it's more work right now, right? But it's going to save us hours, like
let's just say
an
this:
hour a
Buttercup
day.
drinks about 15 to 20 gallons of water a day. And I have to haul that in 5-gallon buckets in the winter because all the exterior lines have been frozen and there was no exterior frost-free spigot. So all the water had to be turned off all winter long. And I had to haul it from the house for the sheep and the chickens and Buttercup.
Did you tell me you're using dark wax over copper?
Oh, dark wax over copper here, folks.
Sorry, guys. I was like,
story time right now.
Yeah, story time. Do you have people enough to have a specific guest room? Yes, we do have a lot of people.
Jamie's mom lives with us, and so her sisters come up quite a bit.
Yeah, so we don't have that much family that lives here in Utah, so we have a lot of family that travels to come see us, and we have the larger house, so sometimes they do want to stay with us, and we just don't have an extra space right now. But it's okay because Eliza's room will have the queen. They just have to be able to do stairs. If they can't do stairs, then they're out of luck. But I do have to say, like, it is not your job to have a guest room. It's not. It's a nice thing if you can do it, but I feel like some people feel like they must have a guest room, and that's a lot of expense to have a room that's just for guests if it's not consistently used, and even then, it's still a lot of expense. So I personally am of the school of you don't have to have a guest space. If it's better suited as a craft room or whatever, and then you have a bed that you can put in there when guests come, like it's better to use your space. We initially designed this house with the room that my mom is in as a guest room.
It was a guest
for my
suite.
Parents,
and that,
because they spend a lot of time
here. Yeah, her parents,
they,
before we started building the house, they were coming up, spending 2-3 months out of the year and hanging out. And then as we were building the house, Jamie's dad had to come have some medical procedures done here in Utah. And that ended up, they stayed. And now that's been 3 years this summer.
Yeah.
That they've lived with us. So, you know.
It worked out good that we already had it in our designs.
Well, we were like, we'll just have this as a guest suite for them. And when we get old and we don't want to do the stairs up to our room, you know, we'll use that room. Because it's pretty big. It's got a big walk-in closet and a separate bathroom.
Even if we don't finish the basement, though,
yeah.
Like we could clean it up more to where it's not so dusty from construction, because we never really did that, and put a mattress down there. Like we can accommodate people.
Yeah.
Bye. Caitlin is hopping off.
All right. See you, Caitlin.
See you later. I will drop links here in a little bit if you need them.
So the dark wax really takes the shiny brand new look off of this. It still is shiny copper underneath, but it makes it not look like you just brushed copper on.
So now that the color is dry, I actually have pretty well full coverage over that original design. I'm going to go ahead and just do one more coat. I just wanted to let you know this though. Sometimes when you have full coverage like this, then you put wax on it. Sometimes the coverage looks kind of thin, like see-through, but then once the wax cures, the coverage gets thick again. It's just because the paint is wet. So give yourself a little like grace there. Don't freak out.
Are you almost ready for me to stencil?
And yeah, I'm just going to put one more thin coat just to make sure that design is full on covered. Because like I said, I could see it a little bit when it was wet. But I just want to let people know, because the other day I was painting something, I had full coverage, then I went to wax, I was like, oh shoot, now that thing's coming through underneath. But then once I waited for the wax to dry, it was fine. All right, I'm just putting an extra coat just where that design was.
Careful.
You know what's nice is the inside already matches because it's yellow.
I missed some spots on this ear. I'm gonna have to.
You what?
I'm gonna have to copper over this. I'm gonna rub that back, get that wax off real good. I missed a spot with the copper on the ear and the chin. Wax last, folks.
Unless you screw up.
Or unless you're me. Because I break all the rules.
Just doing a quick coat. This was red, so it's like dark. Any recommendation on applying wax over a light painted piece with a dark painted stencil? I'm scared it's going to smear. You can spray sealer on it.
So you can also dab it on, like dab the wax on, just, you know, be careful. And then once that's on there, it should be good.
Yeah, so what you could do is use like a small, like artist type brush and just kind of carefully put the wax over where it's dark and not too thick, then let that dry and then come back and lightly wax the whole thing. The biggest thing is to not overwork it. That would be my suggestion. I don't ever like set anything with sealer, but you can also just spray a sealer over it. Do like half sealer, half water, kind of like how you set the inlays and mist it over the top. Let that dry and then wax it. But
I noticed a few peekaboos on here.
That can also, if you're using clay-based paint, cannot look great if you don't get full coverage with the sealer because you might have splotchy designs. So.
Right, I'm going to take this outside, let it dry up. Hopefully that doesn't wipe off because I waxed it. We will see. If it does, then I'm going to have to get more aggressive and get that wax off in those spots.
All right, do you have a white? Did you use cottage color?
Yeah, there's cottage color. I washed the brush though.
Oh, I'll just use tarnished pearl. I'm trying to think, what do we have that we're stenciling here? Oh, we're going to stencil that cake batter so you can watch Seb do it. Maybe that'll help give you some idea because he's going to use a dark stencil over the top of that and then we'll wax it. So, Seb, do you want to heat gun that just carefully because I don't want it to bubble? Heat gun that cake batter and then start stenciling that and we'll show Gail how you wax it in a way not to smear it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to see it done. If you have to leave before he gets it done, just
come back and
rewatch it. Because it's going to take a little bit. You want I have the heat gun right here, or you're going to get another one?
Yeah, I just got the other one out.
Just be careful because like there's like it's like a paper almost on here, so you don't want to bubble that.
I have this frame that's all crackled that I don't want to forget to wax too. It's almost dry. This is the tired one. It still warms up pretty good.
Well, that's good. Then it won't be too hot.
It's like a little dance, you know. You got to get your heat gun moving.
The heat gun dance.
Get your calisthenics in. Oh, it's bubbling.
That's why I told you to be careful.
I didn't even hardly touch it with any heat. I'm dancing.
We just had that conversation. It'll right. Once it cools down, it'll be fine. It will be fine.
And if it's not fine, I'll make it be fine.
I promise you we're not doing anything that we're not telling you. It really is. It does get better with practice. Like the more you paint, the better it gets. Okay. That's still kind of sticky.
We'll have to sweep. But I don't want to.
All right, Zeb. I'm thinking I want to switch to another color. I've used aviary. I've used.
Here, do you want to do something with? Here, can you dry these off? And then I was going to stencil on these too.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll come back to my prime.
Do you have yellows out still?
Yellows?
You still have?
I have cake batter right here.
Cake batter. Okay.
Oops. What do you do if it bubbles? Wait for the heat to dry.
Well, it wasn't the paint bubbling.
It's like the piece, like it was like covered in paper
mache or something.
So there's really nothing to do. You just let it cool down.
Worst case scenario, if it bubbles and you really do want to work that hard to save the piece, sand it down.
But in this case, sanding wouldn't work because it's not the paint.
No, I would have sanded all the way through the paper.
Oh, yeah. But it'll be fine. It'll just get, once it cools, it'll suck itself down, if that makes sense. But if it's like bubbling because it's the paint, you can sand it and then repaint it.
We still have the, this is the new release from this spring, and I have it in here to keep it separate from the older stencils because otherwise they get mixed in and we're like, was that one new?
What color, do you want me to paint those yellow?
What?
These are going yellow next? What color am I doing this?
I was going to stencil them. I needed you to dry them.
Oh, you need me to dry them. So you're going to stencil over the top of this color? You should have painted the inside of that.
Yeah, I might. I wasn't going to, but looking at it, I might.
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Okay. I still have some salt wash right here. It's
I could just use
thick
paint.
Again, but
not necessarily salt wash to paint the inside, but let me finish painting my green apple here. I had to put a few coats on the bottom because you could see it.
All right, so these are all kind of the same size. This one's a little taller, so I'm going to arrange it like so. Those hanging off the edge just a hair. Actually, if I line that up right in the center. Okay, we've got it. Let me put these back in. Actually, I'm just going to set these over to the side. We might use them again in a minute.
Shar says, I was just going to say how much I liked the copper once the dark wax went on. Zeb took the words out of my mouth. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I like it with dark wax. And if you want kind of a rose gold look, you can use white wax. The copper is really good. If you have not tried DIY's copper patina, you definitely should check it out. If you need a link, let us know. But it's at jamierayvintage.com. Okay, so you just want me to paint the inside of this and then heat gun the outside for you?
Yeah, there's some more salt wash if you want to use it up. I think other than your tray over here and those, that red finial.
And everything back there.
Well, that just needs finish work. But
where's your brush you used with this? Did you wash it?
I didn't use it. Oh, I used a little brush with that, and yes, I did wash it. Okay, stencil time. So these are the 1/2-inch JRV stencil brushes. And I'm just going to use weathered wood to start. And then I'm going to come back over with some color. And I might go get a smaller brush in a minute. Actually, I'm going to get a little plate to put this on. Oh, and there's that thing by my feet.
I mean, if they plant something and the paint comes off the inside, whatever, it's not a big deal. It's all natural, but it will look better at the shop. It's got paint in the inside.
It's looking like a crock right now.
Yeah.
All right. Little dab of paint. Offload it. I mean, you don't want to offload so much that you don't have any paint on, but get it dry. You can swirl, you can dab. I honestly prefer to dab. I haven't perfected the swirl, so I always get paint underneath because I'm like, oh, I don't have to go as dry with this. You do. You still need it to be dry. If you don't know what I mean, the swirl technique is like that. But I usually only do it once I've dabbed a little bit and my brush is really dry.
Gail says, I will be buying those stencil brushes. They really are. I can't say they're the best on the market because I haven't tried every one. I'm just going to say they're the best I've ever used.
We don't wash them because we're busy. We'll say, we'll excuse that away.
Did you want some of the original terracotta sticking through?
I mean, it's fine.
Okay. I just didn't know if you need me a second coat these or just dry.
I mean, maybe throw a dab on there if it's going to make your eye twitch.
No, it's fine by me. I didn't know what you're doing with it. I'm happy to not put any more paint on here. Because if you wax it, it'll wax over that part too. So I'm just drying. Salt wash does make things take a little bit longer to dry.
I'm employing both techniques. I'm dabbing until I know my brush is real dry, and then I'm swirling. You can also use the swirl method to blend if you want like a cool ombre effect.
Okay. Just checking that. All right, what else? I feel like I'm at that point where I've painted so much stuff.
There's this down here if you want to paint it. It doesn't have any
I don't know that
coats.
I want to start something new. I'm going to
So I need the birdhouse.
finish up this one. One coat is good on this. I think I need to touch it up a little bit. So let me finish this so you can stencil the box.
The birdhouses need a second coat, and those are probably dry enough. You could probably paint your shiny stuff.
Yeah, I just want to clear up some space.
Hold on, let
here.
me fix the camera. Sorry, guys. I don't know how long it's been like that.
No, I just did it. Just a few spots that are kind of streaky. I think it's the places that we just... Do you want me to paint the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. Mentally, I've got to finish a few things. They use nails to put this together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's big old nails.
Legit.
It wasn't stapled together or brad nail. Okay, so that one's done. I am going to come back through once it's dry and do some fruit on there with the different colors. Can they see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it.
I guess I can just put this lid side down. I missed a spot here. Okay, that is ready to be stenciled. this one is ready for another coat. I just gotta like finish a few things and get it out of my way. So these, I'm putting things that are ready to be stenciled over here. What?
Starting to get an eye twitch.
No, I'm just running out of space. This is just needs another coat on this eventually. I'm two-toning the little drawer situation. The cake batter's done.
The nice thing about these stencils is their industrial thickness. I think it says 15 mil on the packaging, but they're actually a 17 mil. And we do 15 just in case there's a little imperfection in the thickness of the material. But they are thick and strong. We've used some of these over 100 times and they're good to go. And they're a little bit more forgiving when if you're a little too juicy than a regular stencil because of that thickness. And also they're great for doing raised mediums. We use them a lot with salt wash and the blade actually, and do a raised stencil.
Okay, now I have a little bit more space.
So this is weathered wood over the yellow. It looks good like this, but we don't two-tone or three-tone our stencils or color them very often. And I just want to show you guys what that looks like.
So you're going to do a weathered wood, then you're going to come back with color over the weathered wood?
Yeah, I'm just doing weathered wood, and then I'm going to come back. I think I'm going to go hunt down that little 3/8 in the drawer and
do red?
Do red where the cherries are. And then there's another one that I think... And this one's like a flower type stencil. It's that point in the live stream where we're focused and all talked out.
I'm second coating this with tarnished pearl.
It takes an hour and a half to get there, but we're there.
You know what? Before I started doing YouTube, I used to spend a lot of time talking on the phone. And I used to think that I was a big talker, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, people that know me know, like, text me. I'm all talked out. I will talk in person, but to, like, sit there on a phone or, like, FaceTime for an extended period of time just is... Like, I only have so many words. In fact, sometimes we'll be on road trips and Zeb's like, hey, I'm bored. Talk to me. Because I'm quiet.
We're like 8 hours in on the ride and she's super done.
I like to talk and I like people, but I am not a phone talker anymore. And it's fine. I probably talked too much. So now
you've balanced it out.
Now I've balanced it out with making content.
You're making amends for over talking.
Oh, making amends for all my report cards growing up. It's really smart girl, super nice, talks too much. All right. I don't care if this is perfect coverage because I'm going to wet distress and bring back the red anyways.
That's like Jack, parent-teacher conference. He's awesome. He's got great grades, but he's talking to his peers too much next to him in the chairs, and they're not getting their work done.
And Jack is fine because he's like me. He can do multiple things, but not everybody can. The sound of painting is relaxing. And you will wax over that and it won't smear.
I'm going to show you in just a second. This is pretty fresh. Like
we'll make sure it's dry.
We'll make sure it's dry, but I'm going to show you in just a few minutes here.
You got to be gentle. All right. Now that I've primed this, I actually think that I do want to put some texture on it. I probably didn't have to, but we've got it right here. Just decide what the heck. Where is he? Is he barking in our room?
Yeah.
This is one of my hairs. There we go. Sorry, guys.
All right, so I feel like that's got a little bit of weight on the one side. Wondering how I can fix that because this one didn't have the border.
Oh.
Hang on. I've got it. Don't you sweat it.
Oh, you should have put that in the middle. That's a good fix, though.
This is the other stencil that's on this side. And I'm just going to do the border that's around the outside.
This is really going to make the paint stick since I'm salt washing over primer. When you buy super shiny things like this, you have to do the extra steps to get paint to stick, but it can be done. It can be done. And I'm using up all their extra salt wash, so win-win.
So I'm using, instead of getting a smaller brush, I'm just going at it with the edge of the brush. Also being careful not to go up underneath.
You guys might not see the shiny stuff finished all the way because I've taken all these extra steps, but I do like that. I like that. Sandy blonde salt wash. It's a good mix.
There we go. Now we've balanced it out. Okay, let me get this dry.
It is going on, like, since I primed it, I can tell that it's sticking easier than it usually does when it's super shiny. I'm still being careful with Zeb's molds that he put on here because he did them out of clay. And so they're still not quite dry. I don't have that much salt wash left, so I might not do the chicken with it. What color should I paint the chicken? I was thinking like weathered wood with a white dry brush.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because it's got so much detail
It'll
on
make it look like stone.
Yeah.
All right, so this is, you just saw me stencil it. Jamie just painted it. Let me get the price tags off here.
Make sure it's all the way dry. So you're going to do colors on top of that, or you're going to keep it gray?
Yeah, I'm going to go colors on top real quick. I need to get a red, though.
Do we have red?
Yeah, I think we do. If we not, we have marquee, and I can add some yellow to it, and that'll...
Marquee is red.
Or not marquee. Shoot, what's that?
I don't know.
I'm forgetting the color that I want to say.
Red's a primary color, so you can't mix it.
What happened to our little 3/8 stencil brush? Did you eat it? All we have is 1/2 inches in here.
You do want to make sure you paint your molds decently quick after you lay them on. It will help reduce the amount of shrinking and cracking. Just be careful because they are still soft. You don't want to overwork them.
All right.
And I may come back later and just paint a solid color on that bottom. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. Gail says she's scared. Don't worry.
Scared of the stenciling?
I don't know, scared of waxing.
Oh.
It also depends on how slick your surface is.
This paint is...
If your surface is really slick, it can cause more smearing, but this surface wasn't overly slick, so it should be okay.
We did have some marquee.
We did.
No, Carnival Red.
Carnival Red. It's funny that we have Carnival Red because I'm less likely to like have that color, but I'm wondering if we had it.
I probably used it, especially around Christmas time.
Well, I think I used it on those planters last year.
Okay, so this is the cherry one. And I couldn't find my small stencil brush, so I'm going to go in at an angle. And because I've got dark underneath, it's going to tone that red back a little bit, which is good.
What I might do is once this dries all the way, just come back with straight up sandy blonde to get full coverage and then do like a white dry brush. So just because you do your first coat of paint with salt wash doesn't mean every subsequent coat has to be the salt wash. You can just do one coat of salt wash and then come back with, yeah, I've got like chunks in my salt wash here. I don't want the chunks inside my bowl. Oh, I missed a spot.
Oops. Got a little red where I don't want it. I'll come back through and fix that with some weathered wood in just a second. Oh, that's cool. And it's got like a little halo because I did the dark underneath. Liking it.
I need my little brush. I don't want to paint the bottom of this. So I'm going to use a little brush so I can get a nice neat line around the edge. So that way the maker of the piece still shows.
So if you've got one of our 3/8 stencil brushes, can you bring it over? I need it.
What?
I couldn't find any of our tiny little stencil brushes.
Are you talking to me?
No, I was talking to everybody.
I'm like, I don't.
Them. Come on over and bring your stencil brush. Let's craft.
Zeb is not offloading. Is the bowl glass? It's ceramic.
I'm offloading.
Yes, he's offloading. Those cherries actually look really good over the weathered wood.
I know.
I know. Why am I shocked, right? You're good. You understood the assignment. Okay, weathered wood. That's the next one.
Now we're gonna go. I could make these look like berries, like raspberries. I think I'm gonna do that because I think that's what they're supposed to be.
I think there's some sort of berry. Although I would just go red because
it'll balance it.
Yeah, just go red. Okay, I'm going to
look at all this offloading over here happening, Wes.
Weathered wood. We already primed my piece with the clear Salvation solution. So that's going to help my paint stick even better. And I wouldn't ordinarily paint this butter dish, but it had some cracks in it. Chips that they fixed and you could tell them. So I just thought it looked better painted. So it's more like for decor now, although I'm not painting the inside. So you could put butter in it if you wanted to hand wash the inside. I will do 2 coats, but the first coat is actually getting, since I primed it, way better coverage. Normally when you paint something this slick, you get lots of streaks. And because it was primed to help with the ceramics, it's not very streaky, which is nice. And I will flip this over and do the inside lip, but I'm going to let that dry. Sorry about my nose. I keep sniffing. Everything's in bloom around here.
It's almost about to be.
Yeah. So same thing with this. I put 2 coats of primer on it. So now I'm going to come in and give it some weathered wood. Let that dry. Another coat of weathered wood. Let that dry. I'm not going to use a heat gun on this because the primer has a certain amount of sticky sealer factor to it and it could bubble. So it's going to have to just dry on its own. But you can see we're getting pretty good coverage on a very slick piece.
You take my weathered wood?
Yes, I did.
I just need a dip.
I didn't know that today was your weathered wood.
Mm-hmm. It was on my side.
Oh. Yep, I took it. It was me.
I just need to fix a couple places where I went over just a little bit with my big brush.
If you stencil and you make a mistake, it's just paint. You can also, if you accidentally get a little bit of overage, you can take a little brush and tidy it up that way, like a little artist brush, and use the base coat and fix the edges if it gets a little juicy. Offloading means tapping on a paper towel. Heat test uses our drop cloth to offload less.
Well, I was just using this.
Oh, the stencil. Yeah.
I mean, do you have to use a paper towel, Les?
I don't know. Les
Where
says,
is it written?
Les
Where is it written, Les?
Les just wrote it. That's where it's written.
I need to see this law.
If you guys are wondering, we stream on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So if we're ever reading a comment, and you're like, I didn't see that comment. It was probably on the other platform.
All right, you guys ready? The red looks really good with the yellow. Me heat gun it so you can really enjoy it.
Try not to put the paint on too thick so that way it'll dry. relatively fast.
And then the weathered wood kind of outlines the back because I wasn't like exactly 1000%. I was like 99.9% lined up. And so there's a slight halo.
Yeah, it's like, you know, that extra. It looks like you intended it to be.
So Les, I will give you this. My A on the JBA got a little schmeary, but we're going to distress it. It'll be all right.
Les says she is the law.
All right, Les.
Les would think it was funny when she's hearing we say, obey me. Zeb, you got a big old drip coming out the hole in that birdhouse. Can you get that with your finger?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You know what? Do you have weathered wood on a bigger brush? I'm going to go ahead and just do this weathered wood.
I do not.
All right. Are we done with the cake batter?
I'm going, yeah, I think so. I'm going to distress this really just lightly. And then we're going to wax.
All right.
Do we have any?
Then you can stencil. That green box is ready to stencil, and then whatever you're going to do on those pots.
We do have some.
Do the pots first because the green box looks like there's a little bit of aviary.
Okay.
Still on the bottom.
So 220 grit. You saw. I was just stenciling this. It's gonna get the brown on there a little bit on the yellow, but that's okay. I'll show you how to fix it. Oh man, yes.
Never smear your stencil.
Okay, so there's the dust on here, right? Weathered wood all over my cake batter. Look at it. Oh no, I've ruined it. Oh man.
You should probably do it. You should probably do it outside though.
First off, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to blow this off, and then I will do another step. I'm just going to blow it off with the breath that I have in my lungs.
With his hot air.
Yes.
Like, please don't blow that in the house. I love it.
I'm going to try not to spit on it like a birthday cake.
Don't taste the cake batter. It's nothing like the real thing. Les says she loves to tease Zeb through the comments. We know. We know you, Les. Les is a big tease. She's been around here. Les, how long have you been watching us? I feel like it's been a long time.
Like since we started doing live streams, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Dust is gone.
He blew it off instead of wiping it off.
So if you've got like an air compressor,
a blow dryer,
the heat gun doesn't really blow hard enough, I don't think. I also use.
Careful, I don't want to splatter your.
I also use the leaf blower. Like on big pieces of furniture.
If you wipe it, you'll smear the pigment. So that's why we blow it.
So it's still dry. I blew it off. I don't have all that dust. Now I'm going to dab it just to make sure that I have all that off. And then I'll give it a little wipe because I still got some dirtiness on here. Okay,
Kim
now
says
we're
I have
ready to
a
wax.
stag on the back. Oh, a stamp. Oh, you mean this? A piece of painter's tape?
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not painting the back because that'll go against a wall.
Okay. Clear wax coming.
I might paint that little lip. Les says, yep, she's been here that long. And Carolyn says, I'm one of the oldies watching since you started. You know, when we first started doing videos, there were not that many people doing videos. Like, it was not a thing to do these types of videos. There was like Debbie, and then there was like
there's a few others, but
one gal, Blue Egg, Brown Nest. She was like the most popular paint video that was out there. I don't even think she still makes videos. But we have had so much more people in our genre come around since we started, and it is so fun to watch other creators. Gives us more things to watch.
Whoops, watch out.
Oh, you just chipped off my paint.
It'll be all right. It's distress. I want to hold this so you guys can see. Clear wax loaded up on my brush.
I also think the heat gun does help, even though we just painted it. It kind of helps set the paint. So you might want to try that too, just to make sure it's set all the way and not still tacky. Gail just put an emoji like this. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, he's definitely overworking that. If you have a piece, and it's still okay, but if you have a piece that's really slick, I would lightly go over it, let it dry, and then do this more wax if you're really worried about it. Be careful.
I was just So this is a pretty fine wax brush. It's not
it's not like a stiff wax brush too. Sometimes I think that helps. That's a cling-on brush. That's not a stiff.
It's not even made for waxing, but we use it. Oh, hello.
Les said since the beginning of your live videos, well, lives, but she meant live videos, I'm part of the family. That is true. That is true. I sent her a Christmas card. I haven't sent Christmas cards in a few years, but I have sent.
I haven't sent them to anybody in a few years.
Life's busy.
Who got this box? Do you remember?
Gail says, "Oh, I'm going to do it right now. If it doesn't work, I'm going to send it to you to fix." Just make sure you follow the tips that we gave you. Especially, like I said, if it was slick ahead of time, just know you got to be more gentle with it. But you can wax it; it's fine. And cake batter is pretty light, and weathered wood is pretty dark.
Cody hair in this wax. It's driving me nuts. Well, a little bit of Cody's coming your way.
No, we always
I'll wipe it off when I.
We wipe it off. We inspect our pieces before they go out. I like this. I think I'm just going to wet distress this. I'm going to do one coat of weathered wood, wet distress this to bring back the lighter color, and done. It's going to be an easier project.
So if you guys notice, Jamie said I was overworking it, which is true. You can do a coat of wax, let it dry, and then come back if you've got some light spots. Up close to the camera, you can see where the paint changes color. It gets dark, almost like it's wet. That is the wax absorbing down into the paint and making it non-porous so that it'll be wipeable, so that if like water spills on it, you can wipe it off pretty quick. And then that will, as the wax dries, you'll come back to closer to your original color, but it'll still have a little more of a sheen to it because it's not porous anymore. The wax has filled those pores.
Zeb, what's the difference between dry time and cure time? That's a good question.
Dry time is just the amount of time it takes for the paint to dry so that you can touch it. Cure time on most paints, industry standard, it doesn't matter what kind, what brand, cure time is about 30 days for most paints.
Zeb, did you charge anything at Wegmans in Anchorage, Alaska? I didn't.
No.
Okay. Wells Fargo. We don't even have a Wells Fargo account. Oh my gosh, people are crazy. Scammers. Make me crazy. I was like, wait a second. It says Wells Fargo.
Okay, I'm going to put this out in the wind.
Screenshot.
Oh, I got to do this back.
Them.
All right. Well, Jamie handles the scammers.
Sorry.
It's probably not even a real text.
No, it's not. Look, this has two parentheses here, one parentheses there, and then it says text message, blah, blah, at WF.
You got to be so careful with all the texts that you get.
Well, even the whatever, like, if you're not sure, definitely never give personal information. Your bank is never going to text you, email you, or call you and ask you for personal information. You can call them once you look up the correct number, but they're not going to call you and ask you for personal information. Okay.
Okay, it's all waxed. Going to set this outside, let the wind do its thing.
Lisa says, I get those texts all the time. Yep, it happens. All right. But just for good measure, I'm going to check where we do have our bank accounts at and make sure they're good. Sorry, guys. Live TV, but can never be too safe.
We're ultra paranoid since our
because Wells Fargo does your tractor loan, but you don't have a checking account or anything with them, do you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.
All right, so I had to put some copper back on here where I had missed painting a couple spots. It was just a little lighter than I liked it. Let that out to blow in the wind a little bit. I'll wipe that back. It seems to be sticking. I wiped enough of that wax off. It was fresh enough. It hadn't cured up, so it came right off.
Okay, everything looks normal there. Sorry.
Okay. And there is the deer head. I feel like this is much better than the white. If you saw it Saturday night, you'll know what I'm talking about.
No, it looks so good. It looks, and it also covers up where they fixed it too. Sometimes when you have something break and you glue it, painting it hides the fact that it's been glued. That's good. All right, we're good.
Crisis averted.
Yeah, all right, it's good. Yeah, if you're ever not sure, you can call or contact the place that you think is contacting you, but you contact them. Like if it says it's PayPal or your bank or whatever, you contact them directly through ways that you know are correct, and they can let you know. That's always the safest thing.
What brush was I using on the white? Do you have my white?
All right, I shouldn't heat gun this, so hopefully I don't regret it, but I want to get to the second coat of weathered wood.
Oh, you used it. You used
my
the
light
brush
went dark.
for...
Oh,
it's because it got cloudy
cover
outside.
So we have a skylight right there, and as the clouds move, it can sometimes change our lighting in here. They said, oh, it's bright now. Yeah, the clouds move. We had, so when we originally finished this house, there was a cook stove in the kitchen. And so the stack was right there. So we already had a hole in the ceiling. That's the only way I convinced Zeb to do a skylight.
They just walled over the chimney. There was a chimney going up there. And it went all the way down to the basement. So we tore it out of the basement. We tore it out of the ceiling. So we didn't need a chimney.
Yep, and so we put a skylight in. And I'm so glad we did, because we have huge overhangs on this house. And so we do get a lot of natural light, but especially on this side, it can be a little bit dim. And so the skylight just gives us so much nice bright light, especially in the long winter months.
Well, it makes it so you don't have to have like the artificial light on all day long.
Yeah.
Like you can be in the kitchen and it's not dim in here.
We turn on the lights, the artificial lights, when we're...
And we made sure we did a door with a window in it.
Yeah. So I'm just painting the lip on this, so the original finish is still down in the bottom. When it's all sealed up, I'll come in and clean that bottom really good.
So this is the second coat of white linen from the Cottage Color. And, or if you're Debbie, she just calls it Jamie's paint.
Yeah, Jamie's paint.
It cracks me up.
Well, it's actually, Ellie says it a lot. She's like, we're just using Jamie Ray's paint.
Debbie
the
makes
Cottage
it.
Color by DIY, curated by Jamie Ray Vintage. That's a mouthful. So Jamie's paint also works.
Yeah.
We should like start hashtagging it Jamie's paint.
It's kind of fun to call it that.
But it's Zeb's paint too.
I did do all the color.
The Jamie Ray paint. And I did take your last name, so that counts.
Yeah.
Or I should say you gave it to me.
You're so old fashioned.
Oh yeah. I actually almost didn't, because I really like Tarrington, but it seemed like a
But
pain.
then you tried signing it a couple of times and you're like, oh, my wrist.
Yes, it's so great on a credit card receipt. I was in the mortgage industry, and back in the day when you used to have to actually sign stuff, not just click to sign, I had to sign a lot of stuff.
DocuSign it.
Can we see your skylight? Oh, Marty, it's still got paint on it.
Yeah, I haven't never scraped it off from when I accidentally oversprayed on it. But
there's overspray.
I'll show you the skylight. It probably won't show up that much.
It'll just look really bright.
It's right up here.
Oh, can you fix the camera while you're up there? It
Yeah.
went skinny.
Let's see if you can even see it for the beam. Oh, there's half of it.
Yeah, you can't even tell. There's a skylight.
So there's the skylight, the beam going through. We'll move this forward. I can't really walk around with it, the camera.
Yeah, they can see it. It's just fine. When you,
all right.
The beam wasn't, I mean, it's
like
good.
Hiding half of it. Crazy angle. But yeah, there was a chimney there, and we just put a skylight. The chimney wasn't that wide. I did have to cut the roof some.
Right. This I'm going to set over here because it's got to dry. Eunice says, I've been looking at your website today to buy paint. Sweet. We'd love to sell you some paint. I'm going to put that over there to dry.
Paint is the #1 thing we sell.
All right, I think I'm going to go weathered wood while I have it out. Just going to go to town. Just going to go for it. Because then I can go like light. Sorry, I'm dripping paint everywhere. I should have cleaned off the side of my brush. But then I can go light and bring out all the detail that way. The salt wash, you may not see that sandy blonde coming through, but that was really just for texture. Do you ever worry about skylight leaking from your heavy snowpack?
No, we don't.
Our roof is pretty pitched.
And we don't actually get that much snow that stays here in the valley. Like we'll get 6 to 8 inches in a storm, and then it'll melt off in a week. And then we'll get 6 to 8 inches in a storm, and then it'll melt off in a week.
I've never had it stay on there like for days on end where there was snow sitting on our skylight.
But up in the mountains, Harrington was up there skiing or snowboarding on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember the day. Anyway, and he said that they were on the gondola and he could scrape his feet on the snow as they rode up the mountain because it's that high. Even
with all the warm weather.
Yeah. And we're getting rain down here in the valley because we were supposed to get snow, but they changed us to rain. They're getting more snow on the mountains. We tried to go up to the property on Sunday because I was going to throw out some pasture grass. There's like a mountain mix that you can throw out that's real drought resistant, and it grows like 3 feet tall, and it looks amazing. And I was just going to throw that all out all over the property, and whatever grew. But we couldn't even get out there Sunday because there was still a foot of snow on the road, and our property is at like 7,300 feet. The mountains are like at 11,000. So to put that into perspective, and we're at about 4,600 in elevation here. So puts it in a little bit of perspective for you.
Or Tina says, "Oh, I love the skylight." Yeah, it was a good thing to put in. I like it.
So the first winter we lived here, it did have like one little leak. There was a spot where I had missed sealing it on the flashing. And once I did that, we didn't have any more problems.
Throw your grass in the, it says throw your grass in the fall. Yeah, the problem is we had a way
I tried to get
fall.
up there.
My dad died, and then we had the grand opening.
So yeah, we were going to go up there and throw it in the fall, like you said, so it's under the snow all winter and the birds don't eat it. And it gets all that good moisture and germinates. But we missed the window and didn't get up there. So I was just going to throw it this spring and see what happened. We're going to throw some wildflowers out and see. So that might be a this fall kind of thing. I already have the grass seed, but we're at least a couple weeks from even being able to go out there.
Yeah. I had to tell Zeb, like, I don't feel like getting stuck on a Sunday in the snow. So we're going to go back. I did have to pee in the middle of the road. Sorry to any horses that may have seen me. Like, by the time we got out there, I had to pee so bad, and we couldn't really get off the road. And it was so muddy. I was like, the whole time I'm peeing, I'm like, please don't let anybody come down this road. Please don't let anybody come.
No one came down the road.
Nobody came down the road. Sometimes you do what you got to do.
Jimmy's like, so we just proved that this is not a year-round property. I'm like, snowmobiles. We can get out there with snowmobiles.
It says it's a 3-season property, but I feel like it's like a half the year property.
It's like a 2-season property.
Yeah. All right, I'm just come back with this weathered wood, and I'm going to set this aside to dry. Zeb, can you stencil that green box? It should be ready.
Yep, I'm getting ready to stencil it, and then I'll go grab that other one. It should be pretty dry outside and show them.
Yeah, we've got business coaching at 1:30, so we're probably going to go another 15-ish minutes.
What time is it?
It is 12:45.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've been on almost 3 hours.
I think I'm just going to use one of these new stencils that we have out. I say new. They've been out for like 2 months.
The most recent. There we go. You guys are going to have to watch for my reel where I show everything, like bringing it home. Because all these paint layers, they all matter for the final finish, but sometimes it's hard to see while you're doing it. I love those French fruit label stencils. Those are so good.
Can you, oh, the weathered wood's right here. There's my weathered wood stencil.
I have the weathered wood right next to you.
I know.
When we run through this weathered wood, I'm going to grab old school next. I like to alternate.
Old school is good.
Can we let the record show that we haven't used any mint or blue today? Just saying. It wasn't intentional. We just haven't used it.
Lots of yellow, and we even got some pops of red in there.
I don't even know who we are anymore. Kim says, I could watch you two all day. I'm glad you don't mind just watching us paint, because that's what we got going on here today.
So my hope on the property, if we can get some flowers and grass to come up, is take like family pics or something out there. Because if like we got 2 acres of wildflowers out there, it'd be fun.
That would be fun. And we have so much moisture this year. It's got to be good for something.
I hope it's good for my little oak trees and they just go crazy. Because the ones higher up on the mountain are big, but mine are kind of scrubby.
They are scrub oak. That is exactly what they are.
The weathered wood on that aviary looks real good.
I saw that spot not painted in the camera. There we go. Debbie says that's why I always keep wipes in the car. Yep, so does Deb. I was taken care of.
She's like, I didn't even bring any snacks. I'm like, don't worry, I had Eliza pack some. She's like, do you have a first aid kit? I'm like, I always keep a first aid kit in all the cars. And then she called me a good little Boy Scout.
Deb was prepared. More. So this is like less obvious if you were to smear because the aviary is not as dark, but that's pretty good.
I'm trying to get
what
back
are you
to
going to
some of that.
stencil on those pots? Same thing?
Yeah, probably just another one of those little stencils. There's another one over there that I don't think we've even used because they come in like a 6-pack.
Our property is like an hour and a half away from here. We usually don't share the exact location because it's our
secret.
It's our bug out location, but about an hour and a half. So it's kind of central Utah.
And it's way off grid. There's no power. There's no water. There's no septic.
Oh, my mom's medication delivery is here.
There might be septic soon. But I gotta finish like 1,000 other projects. Jamie told me I had to finish her house all the way before I could start on a cabin. And that's not a bad plan. You know, you get too many irons in the fire and pretty soon no projects are ever done or even halfway completed. It's just a mess.
Aunt B says, my mom did the same thing next to a tree on a Sunday drive. A tree would have been better coverage. I was literally in the middle of the road. It was so muddy.
Well, there was like snow. Like there was a foot of snow in the road. It was melted off on the south face of the hill, but the road itself sits flat and it just didn't get the sun, I guess.
I legit and Deb had pulled over to the other side, so I was legit in the middle of the road.
I have video footage I can show you.
Not of me peeing.
No, of the snow.
We don't have video footage of that.
She's coming.
She's coming to the side door.
But he's not going. There he goes.
We knew it was going to happen while we were live, so my mom was prepared. Okay, that's very wet in every spot.
Where'd the clear wax go?
Where am I going to move this?
Over there.
All right, I'm going to just move this. Touch up where I touch on this. Oh, there you go.
Clear wax coming.
I get a few spots while I'm over here that I missed.
So this is going to be a little darker, a little more moody than the weathered wood on the cake batter. but I like it.
All right, I just touched the bottom, so that's not the end of the world. There we go. Just careful not to splatter.
I'm trying.
Renee says, I'll be needing directions. We'll see. See about that. You're going to need like a major off-road vehicle. It's not for the faint of heart. That is faux show.
I couldn't get there in my truck in 4 low.
Well, even when it's not snow outside, you can't like take a car out.
Yeah. Nope.
All right, I'm trying to think what to paint next. I'm going to second coat the tarnished pearl on this. What are you doing with that frame? Like, what's the plan with that?
Oh, I'm going to just dark wax it in just a minute.
Okay. I just didn't know. Are you leaving this shiny part? You just painted over the...
I might copper that. Actually, let me copper that first.
Sorry, I wasn't saying you needed to do it, but I was...
No, I do need to do it. I wanted to show them that frame too. I'm hurrying.
We are now at about... Okay, we have like 20 minutes. Do you need to eat before we go live?
I do need to eat. Well, maybe not.
Pancakes.
I did have pancakes this morning.
You can make it till 2, right?
Made them with some kamut flour.
I had keto granola with berries in it. It was pretty good.
I'm going to let this sit for, well, no, I want to wipe off some of this excess. There's a lot on there. So you can see wiping it back, I am getting some of that dust because I didn't blow it off good or wipe it beforehand. So just keep that in mind. That would smear if you had like a white stencil.
So this is 3 coats of the tarnished pearl, and it's got pretty good coverage here. I'm going to heat gun it so you guys can see how cute this is with the two-tone. That turned out cute, and it will dry a lot lighter.
Yeah.
So I will probably wait till later today or tomorrow to show you like film so you can see what it looks like once the wax cures.
I'm going to go copper with this because I think the copper will look more in line with the dark wax.
Yeah, I think so. Well, copper and the sandy blonde is a really pretty combo.
And I'm not going to worry about full coverage because the wax will...
I would, though, come back.
Yeah, I'm going to do 2 coats.
No, I would say you need to, like, you can see some of that red because you bladed that on instead of brushing it.
Okay, I can do that real quick. Do you still have some left?
What? Yeah. You might want to use a little brush. I can see if I can go find you a little brush.
I have a little brush right here.
What type of microphones? We use the Rode mics, RODE.
Video Go 2, meaning there's 2 of them that are linked together.
If you cannot find them, email us at info@jamierayvintage.com. Let me see if I can pull the email off of the website here. Should be on the bottom. I'll copy and paste that. Email us. We can get you a link if you can't find them. They are good mics. They do help block out a lot of the noise. A lot of things that we hear that we're worried about, you guys don't even hear on your
Yeah, they're pretty good noise canceling, especially when we're talking. Sometimes in video, like if we don't talk, it'll pick up other noises and stuff. Like when we're editing, I'll be like, oh, I got to cut that out. But
I'm going to lightly distress this eventually and seal it, but just wanted you to see how cute this is just with the two-tone. It's gone a lot lighter than what it was. Look how cute that is. So I will paint the bottom of this, but I'm going to wait till later because the top needs to dry. But ta-da! And once I seal it, the yellow will get darker.
And that has a ton of paint in it.
Oh, I was going to get you a little brush.
That's fine. I'm just using I'm cutting it.
That's the next level there. What? Oh, sorry. What mics do you all use? We use the Rhodes mics, Rhodes 2. Look at my arms. Are they painted? Do they look like I've been working? All right. I will bring you... These need to be stenciled. And then what's your plan with this birdhouse here? Do you need me to?
It just needs distressed. It needs to dry though.
This is caught. Oh, that's still wet.
Yeah,
too.
I just second coated both of those.
Okay, those are gonna go away. I'm just trying to see what I need to do. Oops. I can heat gun this real quick and wet distress these. It's mostly dry. A lot of times with things like this, it gets the paint kind of puddles, and then that's where it takes the longest to dry. Kind of get that out of the corner of the screen. Okay, Zeb's gonna let that dry, and then he'll dark wax everything.
I'm gonna heat gun.
You might want to go. Do you want to paint these edges where you missed?
Sure.
And then we usually will come back and either paint the back. So like in this case, we'll just wash it really good to get rid of that excess paint so it's not so messy back there. All right, I've got a wet rag here. Did you use this to wet distress something?
No, I haven't wet distressed anything today.
And this is DIY paint, so it is water soluble, meaning I can come back with a damp rag and distress instead of sandpaper. And I'm just going to really hit these high spots. Then I'll heat gun it and clear wax it. And it was all dark before, and I feel like you couldn't really see the detail. And now it's going to pop out. And another trick too is to get this whole thing wet. And then
you let that sit on there a minute.
yeah, you get it wet and then come back. Then it's easier to wet distress. The longer it sits, the harder it is to wet distress. So just keep that in mind. And the shinier the original surface, the easier it comes off. So if this was super shiny, I wouldn't want to be rubbing this hard because then you just wipe off all the paint. And sometimes your rag will get kind of mixed up with the paint, like it gets kind of muddy. So you can come back with a dry rag and pull off the like wet parts, if that makes sense, and you'll get a better undercoat. In this case, the undercoat was really cured. I didn't paint it dark. So it's not like the black is smearing everywhere. Am I stenciling the drawer? I was going to, but since I two-toned it, I kind of just like it the way it is. Sometimes I'll stencil a little number on there, but I kind of think if I let it dry all the way and I just distress the drawer, it'll be good. And it'll have enough detail that it won't need that.
Got to get this dry. It's my focus face. So I'm going to clear wax. I was contemplating just dark waxing it, but I think that'll be too dirty. So I'm going to clear wax it first, then I'll dark wax over it.
And these, once the wet distress dries, I will go ahead and clear wax them. I probably won't do that on camera. I'll do that later. But these are just going to clear wax and they'll be done.
Oh, I completely missed the side over here. This is pretty well done. We used up all that salt wash and the last of my sandy blonde. I'm going to have to get more sandy blonde. I don't know. I've been loving it. You know what else I like that we don't use much of is cake batter. No, not cake batter. That's a yellow.
Les says, with the spring
Layered
here,
chocolate.
can you make a birdhouse for the craft kit? I don't think a birdhouse, it's a lot of assembly. I mean, I guess you could do one where it was like...
We'd have to send it flat packed.
Yeah, that's probably more than most people can do. Because then you, like the top part, like you could do a 4x4, right? But like that part, I just don't feel like just wood glue would work. You'd also have to use nails. And we try to keep it pretty user friendly. We try not to like make it too labor intensive for us. So like if we nailed it all together and sent it, that would be...
Well, that defeats the purpose of the craft kit. Like the idea is to kind of get you a little bit out of your box so that you can do some things. The tote might have been a little too much. That's why we hesitate to do more, because I had you glue up all the sides of the tote and some people struggled.
So the craft kit is a window with a scene behind it, decoupage. So that is our spring craft kit. The next one that we come out with will be the end of summer, won't it? Let's see. So May, June, July. Yeah, so it'll be something for fall. We always do it a season ahead. So this is like a cute spring window where you decoupage and paint it. And the next one will be something for fall. Maybe in 2024. Have a good day, Carolyn. I think she's headed out. Amy says, thanks for letting us hang out with you. We learned so much. Well, thank you. It's fun. It helps the time pass by. I'm always surprised when I'm done. I'm like, wow, we have been live for a decent amount of time here.
Well, we went about 11:30, so about 2.5 hours.
We get so much finished.
All right, so I know this looks like a hot mess. I just ruined it, right?
No.
Ooh. It is pretty dark and staying that way.
This one's all done. I love, if you guys find these, especially if they're painted dark, scoop them up because they look so good painted and wet distressed. What are we doing with this boot?
I think that would look good white wax. You haven't done any white wax. It's
Do we have white wax out?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a brush, but it white
is
wax.
This the? Oh, this is like pretty full. The one I had was like almost empty. All right. So if it's white or dark wax, it does have. It's the same as regular wax and the sealing properties. So don't feel like you have to white wax it then seal it. Like it's got plenty of wax in there. Are all of these used?
No.
Oh, this one has been white. I like to use a stencil brush. Do we have a...
All right.
Are you using paper towels to wipe that back?
It's a little darker. Yeah, I need a rag. It's a little darker than I wanted it to go, so now I'm going to come back in with some clear wax. Oh, thank you.
D-Barb says nice. All right.
Just clear wax over the top. It's going to work almost like an eraser. It is not going to pull back everything, right? And then I always... This is my clear wax brush, so I get all the black wax or dark wax out of it as I can. There we go. Okay. I'll come give you guys a close-up in just a sec so you can see all this texture we've built in here. So before, if you didn't see the before, this was like a solid piece of wood that they had printed like a bad distressed barn red look on. And it was, when I say bad, it was real bad. It was all pixelated and blown out. We got a little bit of that red peeking through in a couple spaces. Little copper peeking through where I didn't want it.
If I would have clear waxed this, it would be a lot more subtle. But I'm dark waxing this. I'm also pulling off
white wax.
Yeah, if I would have clear waxed it, it would have been more subtle if I did that before the white wax. But I wanted it to be kind of heavy. I'll show it to you up close. And it is pulling a little of the paint off because it was still pretty fresh, which gives it a little distress, which to me is a win-win. If you want your piece to be less distressed, then just let it dry more ahead of time. I can hear Cody chirping up there.
He's at his end. He's like, I hear you downstairs. Why am I in the room?
He'll be fine.
Yes, he will be.
He was outside most of the live video.
It's his, hey, I'm up here bark.
I can't even, like, you know, when you have little kids and they bug you while you're going to the bathroom or trying to do anything. I just have dogs that do that now. Like trying to do yoga and Rex is on my mat. Here's my little boot. See if I can get that to focus. There we go. Cutesy little boot there. Even though it's a little project, it's nice to be like, okay, and I'm done. All right, what are you dark waxing this? What are you doing with this?
I was just going to distress that.
All right, I'm going to leave this alone because that's...
And I was going to distress it and clear wax it.
I'm going to finish this then.
And that was it.
I'll put this over my shoulder. Yeah, this morning I was trying to do my yoga and literally Rex was sitting on my mat. I had to like nudge him out of the way while I was trying to do different poses. I'm not an avid yogi, I should tell you that, but I need some stretching. So I'm just going to heat gun this second coat that I put on here. I'll wet distress and then wax it. I might white wax it just because it'll tone back that red a little bit. And anywhere where it kind of got in the inside, later I'll come back with like a damp rag and take that paint off. Ampy says, mirror looks like something that would be part of a book. A mirror on my book. Tell me just how beautiful I look.
I like it.
Mirror, mirror on my book.
What happened to the glass cleaner? I can never find it. All right, I'm going to go grab that yellow piece that was stenciled in just a sec. Trying to get this mirror clean. I touched it with my waxy hands, so
I'm going to have to later come back and put another coat on the bottom of this, but I'll do it when we're not live. Yeah, my coaching class starts soon. We have about 4 more minutes, and that'll give us 15 minutes before business coaching. I already have what we're going to talk about lined out, so that's like half the battle. Ampy would like everybody to give us a thumbs up.
Thanks, Aunt B. I have a sister, Barbara. My kids call her Aunt B.
Angela says that our craft videos are spot on. She put her tote together well.
Nice.
That's good. That is good.
Okay, so you can see all the crackle in there. Look at that.
That's good. I like that.
And that's salt wash. Smeared it on. Heat gunned it pretty quick after. Copper, clear wax, dark wax. Salt wash with sandy blonde.
And get that damp, and then I'll come back and distress it.
Was I stenciling something else, or are we just showing this and we're done?
No, I think we're probably need to be done. Oh, you want to, you know, we have 2 minutes. You want to stencil those pots or no?
Yeah.
Can you stencil pots in 2 minutes? That's the question.
So this is still a little splotchy. The wax isn't dry. I waxed it real good.
That looks good though.
The wax didn't quite dry out. It'll get brighter as it, like the brightness down here as it dries. But you don't want to heat gun your wax. It just melts it.
So now if you didn't want this red to come through, I could have primed it with the Salvation solution in white and then went dark and then distressed back to the Salvation solution. But I like this red coming through. I think a little bit of red goes a long way. It's a statement color. I used to paint whole walls in red, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. More like a cranberry. No, not like a...
I knew there were some we hadn't used yet.
I said it all looks great. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, we're going to do that one. I like that one. And no, not the pie one. That was too big. Okay. I'm going to do those. They're not going to quite fit all the way on here. Oh boy, that's really curved.
That's why I'm letting you stencil it. I don't normally stencil pots. I occasionally put a transfer on them.
I have an idea.
Got an idea?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll let this dry completely and then come back and clear wax it. I am going to paint the bottom and then let that dry because I kind of messed it up. Tape? I have a piece of tape right here you can use. Look, I got right here. Will that hold it? Emma says that this would look really good with wheat sticking out of it. I think it would be pretty. I think wheat or some, since the red's peeking through, you could do some white and like, I don't know, get some sort of red, white, and blue theme going on. It's fun. And I might white wax this just to tone that red back a little. I don't know. I haven't decided. Bottom's painted. We'll let that dry and then I'll clear wax this eventually. Someday. Where's my shelf? Where'd it go? Oh, you put it over there. Did you? Well, did I put it over here?
Wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Could have been me. Gonna heat gun this. And then I'll wet distress this shelf. And then I'll only need to kind of touch up the bottom part that I didn't paint and maybe paint around this back edge. And this shelf will be done.
Oh, too juicy.
Oh, Les is going to yell at you. Oh, your mic? Is your mic off? Somebody says Zeb's mic.
Did it die? Maybe it died. It's been on too long. Maybe it timed out.
Yeah. Can you hear him now?
It did go too juicy. Oh well.
So I'm just wet distressing this. In fact, this is pretty shiny, so it's coming off pretty easy. You can see that one. Put this backwards in. So when you first start wet distressing, it's better to go soft and then see how it's going to come off, because sometimes things come off faster than you expect. So like this one, I'm not having to overwork it much, which is nice because those tiles were more work. And if you ever wet distress too much, you just come back and add some more paint. Yes.
So I'm really just loosely just dabbing this on here. And it's kind of just forming around. We'll see what it looks like. Not recommended.
Do as we say, not as we do. If you guys want the paint products you see us use today, visit JamieRayVintage.com, or if you want any of these items, they are listed on the website.
Oh, it's not bad. It just looks like it's a little worn.
Let me see. No, I like that. Let it dry, just dress it a little and wax it.
Yep.
Maybe some white wax. I don't know. There's that.
And I'm just going to do the middle one, the middle of the stencil on this one.
I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to let some things dry before I move on. I've reached that point in the process where I need my break. I'm looking forward to business coaching, and then I'll come back with fresh eyes. Although if I have to finish all this stuff and you go work at the shop, my craft kit video might not get until tomorrow. We'll see.
That'll be all right. Craft kits are open until
the 20th. So if I don't get the edited video up today for the craft kit, I will for sure get it done and up tomorrow, like afternoon. Les has so many ideas. Les, I will look at all your comments for ideas when we're not live anymore. I can pull up the live chat. Shelly says lamb's ear would be pretty in that Walton. I think so too. And the red would be great for Christmas. The last shelf is my fave. Isn't it funny how like that shelf was so easy? Like literally I had one coat of paint and a wet distress and it turned out so good. Like some projects are like that. Some projects that are the best are just really simple.
All right, this one I might have to repaint over. No, I'm going to leave it just like that.
I like it. Let it dry. It definitely needs some wax distress.
Because it's round and it also
tapers
goes down in a cone. It's like super difficult to stencil. All
right, we will get these all finished, and I for sure will eventually have like a short video up showing the painted projects for the weeks. If you have any questions, comment below. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jamie Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Thanks, you guys. It says your mic is on mute. Maybe it's...
No, it died again.
It's dead.
It's out of batteries. We've been on too long.